welcome everyone. I am Phil Sitter. I'm the founder and CEO of RepeatMD. Just a little bit of background, we're gonna get straight to it. We have over 2 million patients using our platform, over 4,000 practices, and we've generated over $3 billion in revenue. I don't say that to impress you, I just say that to impress upon you. Of that $3 billion in revenue, we generate 100 million, hundreds of millions, 200 million in the last 6 months on membership revenue alone. Not only that, we're an award-winning platform. Last year was an incredible year. We were rated number 77 of the top 100 health and fitness apps in the world. So, why is that relevant? Because we not only understand memberships, but we understand the data of memberships, the strategy of memberships, and not only in med spas, in wellness clinic, dermatology, plastic surgery, we know this space very well. So I believe you're in great hands tonight, but I think that the results are gonna speak for themselves because we have such an incredible show playing for you today. Now, let me start with a little bit of context, why we're here today. Because in my view, time, and I'm sure many of you can agree on this, right? Time is our most valuable resource. I have a 7-year-old daughter, Zoe, probably out there right now watching, coming back from design school, and I'll say time is such a valuable resource, but when you have, and I'm sure many of you, if you have a family, put it in the chat, when you have a family, it sort of timestamps things for you, right? My daughter's not gonna be 7 forever, and so what I know and what you know, if time's our most valuable resource, but our business starts at 0 every month, well, then it's highly dependent on you, right? Your business is highly dependent on you. And so what that means is if it's dependent on you, you're spending all your time chasing revenue, right? Hoping this month, January, is better than the last, and it ultimately makes you a prisoner of your own success, right? Have you ever felt like a prisoner of your own success? And here's how I audit if I'm a prisoner of my own success. How many hours, days, weeks, months can you spend without being in your business? Is it an hour before you get a text, a Slack, an email, right? Is it 2 hours? Is it 2 weeks? How highly dependent is your business on you, right? And so ultimately, memberships can change that. And not only can they change that, they can create monthly recurring revenue. And you're gonna hear this term a lot, MRR, and we're gonna talk about all the different membership definitions, but memberships create monthly recurring revenue. And with that, successfully selling memberships in your practice, what does it mean? 1, it means it guarantees your calendars to be full. 2, it means it boosts your patient retention. 3, it increases your sales. Members are coming to spend more time with you. They come in, every month, every other month versus 2-3 times a year. And not only that, it lowers your marketing costs. You don't always have to chase the next marketing trend if you have an incredible base of memberships. Within that, it gives you financial security, right? That's at the core of what monthly recurring revenue could mean to your business. Now, it gives you the freedom that you deserve, right, as a business owner. And we know that memberships are everywhere, whether it be Amazon Prime, right, we're all Prime members, or you're doing Birchbox or BarkBox or whatever it is, Spotify, Netflix, whatever it is, memberships are everywhere. And here I wanna make a point. There's one logo on here that I like to pick on, Restoration Hardware. If you've ever bought something from Restoration Hardware, put it in the chat if you've bought anything from Restoration Hardware. We have over 1,000 practices joining us. Some people have bought something from Restoration Hardware. And here's the point that I'll make with Restoration Hardware, okay? You see this? You see this thing? Okay, this is not from Restoration Hardware. But if it was, it'd be $16,000, okay? And reason why I bring that up is because A, whoever said yes, those are the rich people. Okay, so if you said yes, you bought something from Restoration Hardware, you've got more money than you know what to do with, number 1. But number 2 is, I wanna make a point that Restoration Hardware sells hundreds of millions of dollars, or publicly traded, of memberships every year. So why do I say that? Because if a furniture company can sell memberships, I promise you it's possible for your practice, right? If a furniture company can sell hundreds of millions of dollars of memberships every year, I promise you can as well. So, the question is, and we're all friends here, we've got about 1,500 practices that are joining us right now, and I have a question for you all. And this is gonna be an interactive session. If you've ever been to RepeatMD Masterclass, you know we take things to the next level. You probably already see that through our set. How much are you selling in memberships? Put it in the chat. We're all friends here. We're not gonna be doing anything else. So just put it in the chat. I wanna know, so we know how to gear this presentation, how much are you selling in memberships today? Okay? So a lot of you are getting started. How much in revenue are you doing in memberships today? 5,000, 3,000, 5,000. Okay. So some of you are getting started in your membership journey. Some of you are growing. Some of you are growing exponentially and doing incredibly well. See some big numbers. Now here's the real question, and this is important. I want you to, what I'm going to say next, I want you to put it in your phone or write it down, text it to yourself, email it to yourself, because today's date, January 28th, is a very important day for you because you're setting your membership goal. I want to know, where do you want to be in 2026? By the end of this year, where do you want to be? What is your goal per month in recurring revenue? Because folks, your life, your business, everything works off of GPS. And that GPS is what the owner's outcomes are, that goal that they're trying to create. So if you don't know what your number is that you're after, how do you ever get started? Okay, so put in the chat, but also text it to yourself, email it to yourself. Where do you want to be in 2026? Okay, monthly recurring revenue. Great, so I'm seeing all sorts of great numbers. Amazing. Write that down, we're gonna get back to that, okay? The problem is no longer selling memberships. It's almost everyone is now doing that. And I'll tell you, they're trying to, right? And not only trying to, lots of people feel stuck. And not only do they feel stuck, but they don't know where to go next, right? And so I wanna let everyone know today that you're in the right place. You're already part of the 1% that are investing in themselves to learn and to grow. So you are absolutely in the right place if you have a membership goal and you're looking to grow, okay? So whether that's at 0, whether it's at 1,000 a month, 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month, 25,000 a month, or $50,000 per month, today is about the strategies and the tools to create predictable membership success, okay? Predictable membership success. Listen, many of you folks are in the wellness space, right? If somebody comes to you and they're looking for like a weight loss journey, right? Is it unpredictable that they'll get the outcome if they follow the strategies, they use your tools, they use the nutrition plan, they get on the medication? If they do all the right things, is their success predictable? Right? If the answer is yes, then I'm telling you that same formula works with memberships, right? Predictable success is almost a level of guarantee if you follow the right tools and the right strategies, and that's what this is going to be all about. So it's ultimately to get unstuck and to grow. That being said, I've brought in some real help. It's not just going to be me and my bleach blonde hair, right? That got you here, but it's not going to keep you to stay. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring in some real heavy hitters today. First of all, we're bringing in some incredible industry experts, okay? We have the incredible Lisa Krauss. She comes in and she's gonna absolutely kill it when she's talking about memberships and the program of launching and relaunching her memberships. Not only that, we're bringing in the world famous Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, who's a wellness expert, New York Times bestseller, and she's going to talk all about the 2026 trends in the wellness space that are relevant to your memberships. We're also bringing in practices who have really done it. So we're bringing in Vanessa, who's just new to memberships. In her first 45 days, she cleared over $10,000 a month in membership sales, right? So not just about people who've been doing it for years, but she just started and she's crushing it. We're bringing in Corey from Allure, who's now doing out of one location, $50,000 a month in his location. Then we're bringing in Ali and Aaron. They're doing $280,000 in memberships across 3 locations. 2 of them are doing over $100,000, one's doing about $70,000, and then we're bringing in Chris Balby, who's absolutely incredible, and he is doing over $50,000, but he's coming in for a special bonus workshop, so you leave with a strategy on how to do a membership event. And I want to really emphasize the membership event point, right? Memberships are sold consistently, but sometimes they're all sold at once. And that's where the membership events come in. And he's gonna break down an entire workshop at the very end of this to make sure you leave with your own membership event. So that's gonna be incredibly exciting. Today's agenda, how the top practices sell over $50,000 a month. What are the strategies that they know that they've used? And keep in mind, folks, these are battle-tested strategies. They're doing this for real. It's not just consultants telling you the theory. It's real practitioners selling real memberships in their business. They're launching and relaunching. Many of you have launched. Sometimes it's time to take a step back and relaunch your membership program, and we're going to talk about that. Health and wellness trends for this year, right? Because it's always changing. How do you stay always at the cutting edge? And then turning membership strategy into real world execution. And then finally, as I mentioned, the bonus workshop. You're gonna want to stick around for the bonus workshop because membership success and membership events, total accelerator. And of course, it wouldn't be a RepeatMD event if we wouldn't be giving away something. Last event, we gave away a lot of stuff. This event, we're giving away a beautiful Chanel mini bag, right? So it's like, you come to a RepeatMD event, you leave with all this education that can create all these outcomes in your business, and you walk home with a bag. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, right? So ultimately, you're here to grow, and we're here to deliver. I do want to take a second to talk about membership success, right? Dr. Teresa Camden, she's a great example, and I hope that some of you can relate to her. So she got RepeatMD like 3 years ago when we first were getting off, listened to us on a podcast, and we got on the phone, and she's like, Phil, I'm in my 60s. I know I don't have predictable revenue. I want to know more about this membership thing because ultimately I want to sell my business. I don't want to just close my doors. I don't want by the time I retire just to turn off the lease and my life's work be closed. And so she got very serious. She did all the right things. She used all the right strategies. She became a membership first practice where she was talking about memberships to every patient. She got up to that $50,000 a month number, and she was ultimately acquired by private equity last year. So in the chat, let's give Dr. Teresa Camden a big shout out and a congrats. Amazing. So, question for the chat. If you wanted to sell your business, right? I'm not saying that you should, I'm just saying if you wanted to. What % of businesses do you think never get sold? Put in the chat what you think if I'm like, hey, I want to sell my business, for sale sign, I get a broker to sell my business, what do you think the percentage is? That number is 87%. So think about a room. 9 out of 10 people, even if they wanted to, couldn't sell their business. So not only does memberships make your business more sellable, more buyable, right? It actually increases the valuation of your business dramatically. So let me show you an example. Memberships with strong MRR, monthly recurring revenue base, receive 2 to 3 times greater valuations. What does that mean? Well, let me show you the image. It's 2 practices that do similar in revenue, okay? This is just an example so it can land for you. Practice A does $3 million of sales. All of that is one-time, non-recurring sales. They do an awesome 20% net margin. They're making $600,000 net a year, which is incredible. Like, that's an incredible business. If they wanted to sell their business, likely someone will give them 4 times forward earnings. That'll make their business valued about $2.4 million, which is a great business. It's a buyable business, like incredible, 2.4 million. Let's look at the same business, but with memberships. And I think this really lands, right? 1, they do 3 million, same type of revenue on the top line, okay? Then they have one-time sales of 2.4 million, so about $500,000 less. They have their 20% net margin. They're netting from that side of their business $420,000. And then they get their 4 times forward earnings, just like the other business, $1.68 million. Okay, but they also have over $500,000 in recurring revenue, in recurring memberships. What does that mean? Well, recurring revenue trades at the top line, not the bottom line, and so we just put a very fair multiple, 6 times ARR. ARR stands for annual recurring revenue. So that's an additional $3 million valuation. Ultimately, the same business with $500,000 going to recurring revenue creates a $2.4 million business to a $4.9 million enterprise value business. Right? So the question is, okay, why is predictable revenue, why with practices, with memberships, why is it worth so much more? Well, think about it. 1, it's predictable revenue. Lots of this industry is built off the owner, the founder, or the leading physician, you name it. And a business that's built off of you is not buyable. And if you just stop showing up to work, what would happen? So predictable revenue, if you and I were an investor, we would be looking for predictable revenue, wouldn't we? 2, members spend much more and visit much more often, right? Simple math. If your patient base comes 2, 3, 4 times a year versus a practice that has memberships and they're coming every single month or every other month, well, the data shows that members spend 44% more on average in a year than practices that just have one-time recurring sales or one-time patients. And so think about that. It's a really important point. We're always thinking about marketing this, marketing that, TikTok dances, new social media trends, yada, yada, yada. But the reality is, if we just had more members, they'd be spending more, okay? And you could grow your business just off a membership strategy if you took it really seriously. And then finally, it's increase in lifetime value. Patients that are coming more often, spending more money, more frequently, that creates greater lifetime value for your business, which is exactly what private equity or somebody looking to buy your business is looking for, okay? That's why it's worth so much more. So, before I bring in the real stars of the show, I want to make sure we're all speaking the same language, okay? Because I want to take you a little bit to membership school, so when we're using these acronyms, you're familiar, and I also want to reveal to you in 2025 what were the top selling memberships. Because the reality is, I don't want you wasting time chasing this, chasing that, and like, I could just give you the answers, I give you the cheat code, I bring in the best practices in the world that are doing this, and then you can be on your way, especially for those who haven't started yet. So, first one, you've heard it a few times, is MRR, monthly recurring revenue. You can't look at your practice as just all sales. You need to split out what are your one-time sales, just treatments, packages, etc. But what are your monthly recurring sales for membership specifically? 2, ARR is just your monthly MRR times 12 is your ARR. So if I'm doing $10,000 a month, my ARR would be $120,000. Okay? And here's the silent killer, folks, churn. Most practices that are doing memberships have no idea what their churn rate is. And what churn means is just what % of your clients are canceling every single month. So if I have 100 clients with my memberships, right, my members, and 10% of them cancel, right, 10 clients, what happens to my churn rate, right? What happens to my business? And this graph does a good job explaining it. So you can see a client or a practice that has a 10% churn rate versus one who has no churn or very little churn. You can see the different growth rates, right? Starting at 50, one ends at 350, the other ends a little over 150 members, right? And so what does that mean financially? That's the difference between a practice doing $269,000 a month versus 179, right? So types of memberships, again, many of you are just starting, so I want to make sure I break this down for you. If there's med spas out there, plastic surgery, dermatology, like we service that industry, and lots of them used to do, not very popular anymore, Tox memberships. Okay, these are, you pay $20 a month, you don't really get much for it, maybe some savings, and your Botox is cheaper for doing that. Used to be very popular, but now it's trending down, okay? Beauty bank wellness banks. These are incredible, right? The patient is investing every month, like a savings account, and they get better VIP member pricing. We're gonna talk a lot about beauty banks, and that membership is called a beauty bank and a wellness bank. I'll explain more on that one. Tier-based treatments. These are your gold, silver, platinum memberships. And from there, what you see with those memberships is I get to choose 1 or 2 treatments every single month, right? So I get 5 different treatments. I choose 1 per month. Next month it rolls over. I get to choose 1 again. So tier-based treatments. Treatment specific, that's like an IV membership. You get an IV every month. And then weight loss, peptides, hormone memberships, that wellness category, those are incredibly popular as well. So I'm sure most of you are very familiar, and we're gonna dive into 2 of those here in a second. Let's talk about last year, over $200 million in membership sales. What are the kings of memberships? What are the ones that if I said, drop everything and only do these, what would they be? Okay, by patient satisfaction and retention, it's beauty and wellness banks, okay? By enrollment, beauty and wellness banks. And then finally, by revenue, it's weight loss memberships. Those are where I would be spending all my time focusing if I was a practice. And it's no coincidence that the practices that are coming here today that are sharing their secrets, their tactics, their strategy are all on beauty and wellness banks, right? That is what the patient wants. And we're gonna talk a lot about that, okay? So, beauty bank, you're gonna wanna screenshot what this is. We can give you plenty of information on it. We have a lot of education on this, but a beauty bank or wellness bank are monthly deposits. They act like a self-care savings account, and that cash can be accumulated and used on a larger purchase, right? In exchange for that, very important, the exchange is very important. They get discounts, but not labeled as discounts, membership VIP pricing on all of the other treatments your practice has to offer, right? They're investing in themselves, they get better pricing. Same strategy, folks, that Restoration Hardware uses. Restoration Hardware doesn't do sales, but you can go look at their website right now. They have VIP pricing, okay? Then those balances roll over, they can be used. And they also get very exclusive benefits, like some incredible membership events, exclusive to those members. And that's a really important part. You don't want your members just to be members and not get these awesome membership events that you're hosting for them, okay? Wellness and weight loss memberships. This can be weight loss, it can be peptides, it can be TRT, whatever it is. They're coming in for their medication, right? And they also get additional benefits. And this is where I see a lot of people get it wrong. They just think that they're competing with Hims and Hers and the telehealth companies. But no, if you're a practice with 4 walls, you're competing on service, you're competing on consultations, you can add B12 shots, body scans, and full meal plans, because you're never gonna beat the large telehealth companies. They're always gonna lower the price. So you have to raise the bar for service and standard, and why I wanna come to you and be a member, okay? As a gift, we've got some gifts tonight. We're gonna send you 7 ways to sell more memberships and a podcast with that. And that's gonna give you the tactics on, hey, any one of these 7 could grow your memberships immediately, but it's gonna be a bit of a playbook, a bit of a blueprint that you can use to say, which one do I like? And there's a podcast with it that really explains this. So we're gonna send that over to you all. Folks, today is all about this statement. And I wanna make sure that you understand what I mean by it. Success leaves clues. What that means to me is there's no point of wasting my time trying to figure shit out when there's people out there that you're gonna have access to today that can give you the protocols, the strategies, the secrets, all of the things that they've done to lead the path to be incredible membership practices, selling over $50,000 or more. Why go spend the next 2 years trying to figure it out? Why just sit with analysis paralysis and say, one day I'm gonna get started, with memberships? We know that the road to one day, the road to someday, leads to the town of nowhere. And today is not that day. Gives me goosebumps just thinking about it, because I feel empowered for you, saying, hey, today's the day that you're getting started and going to be successful. January 28th, 2026, you've got your goal. We have an incredible show coming for you today. So membership success is predictable with the right tools and strategies. And ultimately, there's 3 types of people, right? There's 3 types with memberships. There's the dabblers. A lot of the zeros on here I haven't started yet. You're the dabblers right now. Doesn't mean you're gonna stay the dabbler, but you are a dabbler. Sometimes you just gotta know, I'm a dabbler. I'm looking at memberships, I'm on this masterclass, I'm thinking about it. Those are dabblers. They're curious, but they just never get started. Most people on this call, like myself, can become stressors, where we will break through any limited belief, we'll break through anything that we have in order to get the other side. I'll figure it out, I'm just gonna get started, I'll make it happen. Okay, I'm at 1,000, I'm gonna get on this masterclass, I'm gonna figure it out, I'm gonna get the tools, That's a stressor. If you can relate, most successful business owners are stressors, okay? So if you can relate to being a stressor, that you'll break through anything to be successful, just go ahead and put in the chat, yep, I'm a stressor. What my goal here is for us to leave as masters. Okay? For us to leave as masters. You're at the membership masterclass. Why did we call it the masterclass? Because we brought in the people to give you the right tools, the right strategies to be successful in a fashion that will compress, a decade into a day. If you're committed to mastery, if you're committed to being a master, if you're committed to membership mastery, put it in the chat. I'm committed to mastery. Let's fucking go. Okay. I'm almost at my time and my little blinker of curse words. I'm 2. I've got 2 more this whole presentation, okay? So that being said, I'm gonna introduce you to our very first master, Corey. And Corey is incredible because he's doing $50,000 a month in membership sales. Good to see you, Corey. He's doing $50,000 a month in membership sales. And not only that, he's doing it out of one location, right? So I've got my questions right here for you, Corey. I want to make sure I'm dialed in.
Yeah, I'm ready.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks
Amazing.
for having me.
Well, so you started memberships, and one thing I want to just dive right into you, right? You've done 50,000 membership sales. I'm sure, I don't know if we've shown it yet, but your dashboard, your memberships, you're doing beauty and wellness banks, right?
Primarily.
And so just diving right in, let me ask you, a lot of practice owners, right, they say, my patients don't want memberships, meaning they've tried, they've failed, their patients don't want them.
Right.
What would you say to them?
I mean, at first I would agree with them. I don't think most people sign up for memberships just because they want to be a member. I mean, I'm not collecting membership cards. I don't think you are.
Right.
But I do have memberships where they make sense for me. I like the way I feel when I go to the gym consistently, so I have a gym membership. You brought up Restoration Hardware. We have a baby coming with all that furniture. It just makes sense.
Right.
So we've just worked it into our patient journey so much that it's a natural extension of a committed client. And so when we're talking about memberships, I think you have to reframe the way you're thinking about it. This shouldn't be an extra purchase for someone. This should just be a way of unlocking either more access with a wellness membership or better value with a beauty bank for an aesthetics clinic.
So if someone's thinking like on the beauty bank or wellness bank, right? They're immediately thinking, oh, why would someone spend $100 to $200 a month on my practice, right? You're doing this so successfully. You're doing just that, and you're doing $50,000 a month. How is it explained to them, and how do you explain it to patients where they're like, I definitely want to do that?
We really looked at our patient journey to see how people are already using our practice. They were typically coming in every 3 to 4 months. We knew how much they were spending. We just broke that down into monthly increments, essentially. So we truly believe in it, and when we have a patient who's hesitant because of the commitment, we just tell them, look, we designed this just for people like you. You're coming in consistently already. It just totally makes sense. You're going to be able to do more. You're going to unlock better pricing to do what you're already doing at a better value.
And what exactly do they get for your membership?
They get $1 off every unit of neurotoxin.
Okay.
They get $25 off every syringe of filler and 10% off everything else.
And so that 10% off, let's talk about that. Does that drive them into other categories that maybe they would have gone to another practice for? They become more curious?
And that was the main thing we were trying to fix initially, was that we felt like people were coming to us for what they deemed like the hard stuff, like the filler, the really artistic stuff, and maybe going around the corner to get something easier. And we just wanted them to stick with us for everything because they got better results that way anyway.
So now they're putting money into their beauty bank, that they're accruing that, they're saving that to spend on something, right? And they get the incentives, the benefits of better pricing on all those things. And what you're saying is that keeps your retention high.
For sure.
Right? Because now, before they go to any other practice and say, hey, let me go see what this practice is doing, they're like, well, I already get the best pricing here.
Exactly.
Might as well just stay.
I have the best pricing. I've already saved up for a treatment. I have a little bit of extra credit in my account. I might as well try something new. Exactly.
And how's that impacted your business, like in terms of financial security and like growth?
I mean, it absolutely helps with sort of smoothing out those seasonal transitions, which is amazing. I'd say that at least 20% of our revenue has turned into recurring revenue, which is amazing.
Wow.
It's predictable. As you said, it's much more valued. And I think the patients love it too. They get to come in and see how much they saved. We tell them every time, which is a good pro tip. And they get to do more with the same amount of money. Why wouldn't they do it?
Yep. So you just said a small piece I want to dig into, and it was like, hey, we talk about it every time. 2 questions. One, how do you bring up memberships, and how would you recommend people bring it up? Right? Sometimes it's like the best kept secret a practice has.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, how did you get staff to buy in?
So to answer your first question, it's so built into our patient journey at this point that it's just a natural, next step for a committed patient. So they're hearing about it. We have separate pricing tables on our website, just like Restoration Hardware. They're hearing about it in their appointment reminders and our email signatures. When they come in, if they're a new client and they're filling out intake questionnaires, we put a little cardstock diagram right on top so they're getting a chance to look at the membership benefits before they're in the room.
Right.
Once they're in the room, it's just natural for us to say, hey, this is what it's going to cost today, but if you sign up for our membership, it'll cost you this. And when they go to check out, if they are a member, we'll tell them how much they saved. If not, maybe we'll say, if you're going to come consistently, maybe think about it. You'd save $50 each time or something like that. So we genuinely believe in it, and it just makes sense for the patients.
And so, folks, a couple things. Corey's a genius. He doesn't even understand what a genius he is, but just a couple big pieces, right? Before they deliver the price, they let people know what their savings would be if they signed up today. That's an important part. The second piece is when they're at the register and they are a member, they're reminding them how much savings they have.
Yeah, that absolutely helps drive home and remind them of the value that they're getting.
And so, Corey, I have one here that I really want to get to, which is, what's one thing that you do in a month that dramatically helps your retention, right? So people don't just buy and they, fall off?
For memberships, that's the key, I think, is constantly reminding them of the value that they're receiving. And we also have members-only events and events for our best clients. But for retention in general, I think it's real intentional rebooking when they check out.
Okay.
Do everything you can to make sure that that next appointment's on the books. And if it can't, and if there's a cancellation or someone didn't book that appointment for some reason, reach out and find out why, see if you can smooth that over for them, because having that next appointment on the books, I mean, that's the deal breaker.
100%. And so the final piece here, got a couple more questions, is if you're starting from scratch, right? Many people are starting from scratch. They're just getting started. You have 30 days to build an incredible membership program. Maybe like that first hump is 5,000 or 10,000 a month.
Yep.
What are your 3 non-negotiables, 3 best tips if you're starting today
So
or relaunching?
Yeah, what we did, and hindsight is 20/20, so with a little bit of new lessons mixed in there. The first thing I would do is I would just want clarity on exactly what I'm trying to build. So I would first decide, what's the primary goal here? Is it retention? Is it to increase the visits per year?
Yep.
Is it to increase the average spend or cross-sell? Then I would make sure that I'm looking at how people are already using my practice to make sure that this doesn't feel off-putting to them. How often are they coming in? What are they buying? What's the average spend? That's how we decided on our beauty bank numbers. We just divided that every 3-month appointment by 3.
And that's how you set the price?
Exactly,
And
yeah.
yours are about $200 a month?
It's $150 a month.
$150 a month.
The second thing I would do is make sure that I have a launch roadmap. So that's going to include like a marketing calendar. When am I messaging on Instagram and Facebook? When am I sending out an email or a text? Give a cheat sheet to your front desk so they can easily answer questions. Make sure they know how to use the app if they're using RepeatMD. Hopefully they are. And then the third thing would be to get buy-in from the team. So they need to understand why this is good for them, why it's good for the patient, and why it's good for the practice. And definitely make sure incentives align. So if you're using bonuses or commissions that are tied to sales, make sure that they know that they're not going to be penalized for any promotional pricing that you're offering through a membership. So I think that our providers all understand that this really is the best thing for the patient. We have monthly bonuses based on business goals. They understand that these help us meet those goals. We'll do monthly contests where whoever gets the most signups gets like a service in the middle of their work day or a lunch. And so incentives are fully aligned.
The incentive piece is brilliant, right? Because what you're doing is making sure that if you have those bonus plans, that if there is a VIP member-based pricing, that doesn't count against?
Yeah, absolutely not.
Okay, and then also you're incentivizing signups by having like, if we get to this goal, you unlock this thing.
Yeah, those are, our director of operations, Lauren, she's amazing at this. She calls them side quests.
Oh, I love that.
So they'll just be like little
questing.
monthly contests that we'll have that just keep it fun, and it's nice to win a little reward, but they genuinely believe in the memberships.
And one thing that I heard you say as you were speaking is you were talking about consistency, like on the launch plan. You're constantly talking about memberships. It's on your site, it's on your app, it's on your Instagram. And are you frequently posting about it?
Yeah, we post about it on Instagram. Just for the holidays, we had like a limited member event. It was for members and just top patients. And so yeah, they're constantly hearing about it. It's really at every stage of the process. Yeah, I think that's the key, is this can't feel like an extra menu item that maybe someone should buy.
The key.
This has to be woven right into the patient journey.
I call that being a membership first practice, that the way to audit this, folks, if you're a membership first practice or not, is you send in a secret shopper. That can be your friend, that can be whoever, and they have to tell you back, right, the secret shopping, how many times memberships were brought up.
Yeah.
And if it's 0, you're not going to sell more memberships.
Problem. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, people have to understand why it's beneficial, and they have to hear about it.
Yeah. And where does RepeatMD fit into all this? You guys are so successful. You could use any platform in the world. You have an EMR, but you constantly use RepeatMD to grow your practice. What is it about RepeatMD that drew you in, and how are you using it?
So we had ideas to develop all of these memberships, and it's hard enough building a great membership. Hopefully this makes it easier for people, but there would be so much manual work in taking those payments and keeping up with who's missed payments and who wants to cancel or pause. And with all the other features that RepeatMD offers as well, like the loyalty rewards and stuff, that would have all been manual for us, and RepeatMD really removes all that friction and all that annoying stuff and lets us focus on the fun stuff and the operational stuff that's exciting. And the patients get like a shiny, beautiful app that's really fun. Those Discover cards are awesome for them to learn. They get to purchase from home at any time. They love the convenience, so I think it's a win-win.
And you and your wife have built this incredible brand. You'll have to follow them on Instagram. They're absolutely incredible. And so I know branding really means a lot to you all. Your wife has her personal brand, Allures, and this incredible brand. And so one of the things that we talked about is how that ties into your brand, how RepeatMD ties into your brand. Can you share a little bit on that?
Yeah, I mean that the RepeatMD is perfectly skinned to look like our practice with our brand colors and logo. Those Discover tiles, we get to put blog posts and informational things on there. That's our language and everything. It's all fully customizable. The rewards, the loyalty rewards and the visit rewards as well. So
I just love y'all's brand. So I would feel remiss not to talk about how incredible you guys are.
Thank you.
And then the final piece, and that is one piece of advice for someone stuck under 10K. If there's one thing, you look at memberships and you were diagnosed, what would that one thing be?
So if I was in that position, I would probably just take a step back and just take a fresh look at things. The first thing I would want to do was make sure that this is a natural feeling membership. Would you purchase this yourself if you were a patient? Would it make sense to you? They can't be having to do math or feel like it might be a burden.
You got to do the math for them.
Yeah, exactly. It has to be easy. The second thing, if you say yes, it totally makes sense and I would absolutely purchase it, then are you messaging consistently enough? People usually don't take action the first time they hear about something and they're put on the spot. So it has to be consistent. And then the third thing, if you're messaging consistently and the membership is a no-brainer, then the message isn't getting through somehow. I would look at how you're phrasing that messaging. Is it too confusing or convoluted? Are there too many options that it's confusing people?
That's a big thing that you only have 2, right?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, folks, a lot of people have 5 memberships. Corey's got 2. He's doing $50,000 a month.
2 in a bundle.
2 in a bundle.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're about to have a kid. 2 in a bundle.
Yeah, that's true.
Corey, thank you
so
for
much.
coming down.
Yeah.
Folks,
great event.
We have those tip of the iceberg. Corey, thank you for being here. Allure Aesthetics doing $50,000 a month. I want to introduce someone who is a membership rock star, does this for a living, last 25 years, and that is the one, the only Lisa Krauss. Take it away, Lisa.
Hello and welcome. I could not be more excited to be standing here today to talk all about memberships, my jam. The majority of what I do with my consulting clients, I'm either doing profit strategies, I am doing the Scalpel of Truth podcast, I'm doing RepeatMD masterclasses, and this is my favorite masterclass and the most favorite thing for me to talk about. So I am going to be bringing to you today tips and pearls around launching or relaunching memberships the right way. When people come to me and ask me, you know, our membership's not doing well, I have to go through and dissect what's not working, okay? So I'm gonna go over a little bit of that with you today. So a little bit, if you aren't familiar with me, a little bit about this bitch is I go by on Instagram, The Bitch and Beautician is my handle. I'm more known in this industry than my first name. But I do profit strategies and business consulting. I've been in our glorious industry for 30 years. I host a Scalpel of Truth podcast, which you should sign up. It's tips and pearls and a little bit of cursing, but it gets your business ramped up. And then I also, myself, as a consultant, I've treated thousands of patients in clinic. So we do profit growth strategies. I do workshops focusing on retail rock stars, membership success, and purchasing events. So I do have a bit of a trash dumpster mouth. I'm gonna try and keep that to a minimum, and we're gonna go all in on memberships, okay? So I wanna start with the 8 C's for membership success. And some of this we've already touched on just briefly, but I'm gonna do deep dive. Number 1 thing is clarity. The biggest thing when people come to me, Lise, my membership's not doing well, it's gotta be easy to sell and it's gotta be easy for people to say yes. Exactly what Phil and Corey were just talking about. You can't have where the patient is confused or you will lose them. They will take your pamphlet, they will take the app and they'll say, you know what, I'm gonna think about it. We do not want that, so you've gotta have clarity. Scale down, okay? That's what you've gotta think here. Reassess if you are not doing well. Then competence. Everybody on your team needs to know their shit. They need to know inside, outside, backwards, everything about your membership so they can speak intelligently. This is where the ball drops, I'll tell you, is when I've gone in and I've asked, they've got 6 different team members, I've asked, okay, so tell me a bit about your membership. And each of them tell me something different, and they've got one membership, this in particular, this group, one membership. it seemed like they had 8 memberships. Nobody was on the same page. So your team needs to speak intelligently about the memberships that you have. And then you need to be committed to being a member-centric practice. Everything is about why members win. And how you're going to do that is you're going to always talk about your benefits first, your perks second, and your price third, okay? So the commitment to being member-centric at every turn for the patient experience. Then consistency. Predictability of using the right systems. Again, it's consistent start to finish. In your process of onboarding, in your process of consultations, everybody has to be doing the same thing for it to be reproducible as a system and predictable. Then confidence. One of the biggest things that when I work with teams is they don't wrap their heads around the fact that having confidence in the membership, we know that if patients are coming in more regularly, they're going to get better results. We know that when patients spend more, and this is where, yes, we talk a lot about sales, but we also talk a lot about results. So if you know you're selling to the 3 key pillars of the practice, which happen to be your injectables, your products, and your laser and non-laser device, and any extra like weight loss or surgical intervention if you have that in your practice, you know that if someone is doing a little bit of product, they're going to get a great result. Little bit of injectables, going to get a great result. Little laser, great result. If you marry those all together, you're going to give the patient the best results. So your team needs to know by doing a membership, you're going to unlock the best savings, but also the best results. Then there's customization. This is from a service provider standpoint. I want to have an easy enough membership that you can build a treatment plan. You want to stay away from, well, you get to pick from these 3 things. You get to pick, you want it to be flexible so that your patient gets the best results, but your service providers can build a detailed consultation plan. Curated perks. You need to make sure if you're not moving memberships, maybe the perks aren't there, the value's not there, so you've got to have value. And then concierge service, red carpet for your members. This is not a discount club. This is an elite VIP prestige program where you're trading loyalty for savings, okay? So let's go over some red flags of memberships. And maybe you're in a group that this isn't working. I've done memberships and they're stalling, I'm not making a lot. Let's look over it. Could be too confusing, could be too many tiers, could be stalled revenue because of that. Lack of interest, not enough value, low staff adoption. Is your staff talking about memberships? Are your staff getting patients onboarded onto your app? I see a ton of that. Oh, we're not doing well. I'll go in and do some investigating and nobody's talking shit about anything, okay? So staff adoption, staff's got to be bought in, or they can grab their purse and their shoes, and today's their last day. If you need help doing that, please call me. I love that. So patient complaints. If you're getting patient complaints, I can't get in. You got to be mindful of that. Maybe you're a bank and they never use the bank, okay? So these are all things that are red flags that you're going to get pearls of wisdom on how to change this today. You want to make sure, like Phil said, your churn rate, super low. If it's high, we got some work to do, and there's something going on here. And then so many times, people in practice, it's crazy. I didn't even know you had a membership. Oh, a membership? I didn't even know you had one. We had a fucking membership for a year now, and people don't know about it? That's, again, on marketing and your team, okay? So let's move on. I'm so excited to share some actual client wins with you. So AirMed, lovely group of ladies. I just got this message. We did a little bit of relaunch for their membership. We streamlined things. I did a workshop for their team around selling memberships. This Sunday, I just got this text. I know it's Sunday, but I'm happy about this. Can't stop looking at it. We started January 4th with 4 members. In just under 20 days, 21 days, they've got 37 memberships. That is a huge win. And it becomes addictive to see all of a sudden, boom, selling more memberships, boom, selling more memberships. Again, not about selling, my friends. It's about your patients getting the best out of your membership. They're going to get the best results. Next up, a membership checklist. So we want to make sure that you invite your warm leads, your qualified audience first. These are the people who know, love, and trust you when you're launching or relaunching a membership. So top patients, qualified patients, your most loyal. Hey, would you like to trade loyalty for savings? You're coming here anyways. Let's get you some freaking deals. Let's get you getting more things, more bang for your buck, if you will. Then position your memberships as VIP Elite. So you want to make sure that the name of your membership screams elite. I want to be a part of this elite club. You don't want it to be something that gives discount or peasant vibes, like they're going to get a free bowl of soup or a pair of darn socks when they're signing up for your membership. So they got to feel like it's quality, all right? And then capture content and testimonials, especially if someone is loving your membership. Ask if they're willing to share that and put it on your social media, because you can scream that you're the best all day long. People don't give a shit about that. They care about who thinks you're the best besides you. And then have a post-event follow-up. My friend Chris Balbi is going to talk all about events. You want to make sure if you're having an event for launch that you have follow-up calls. Thank you so much for coming. We'd love to give you an extra blah, blah, blah if they didn't sign up, okay? Then you roll out monthly member-only perks. I love putting these. You want them to hump your social media. So you want to put flash sales for members only on social media. You want to database blast that. Use your text option in your app. You want to make sure that you are reinforcing the value, okay? Value of the membership, value all day long. Now, these are my top absolute musts for membership success. Number one, easy to sell. We've already talked about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between me doing Canadian memberships and then US memberships. As much as Canadians are super lovely, we are also not trading loyalty for savings unless you're loyal to us for 6 months. So I know in the US we have a lot of 3-month memberships. We love that for you. In Canada, it's a little bit more like you got to be loyal to me for 6 to 12 months for me to give you any savings, okay? So a beauty bank option, by far my favorite. The amount of memberships I do, that is number one, and Phil presented some stats as well. And so monthly treatment of choice, I do love this if you're somebody who needs to build a service provider. This is where if you've got a beauty bank, if you rebuild that or if you relaunch something to where you get a new service provider, I love that, because you can say this monthly chemical peel, because everybody loves a chem peel. So this chemical peel, low consumable cost, high perceived value. Get your medical SD or whoever's doing your chemical peels for you busy by treatment of choice. And so always incorporate products. We are so lucky to have my products and Skin Drop. Canada is waiting for Skin Drop. We don't have it yet, but you do have my products. You always want to bundle in with your memberships something on product. You got to be a little bit careful about product and your margins, but milestone bonuses, have to have them. Keep them getting excited. Slower day, throw out the deal of the day. Maybe that service provider has had a couple holes in the schedule. For members only, again, why does it pay to be a member? Sign up swag. Swag is an acronym for shit we all get. So you got to have a beautiful bag of swag. When they get your membership, they come in, they get to pick up that swag bag, a little something lovely. And then special events for members only, priority booking, seasonal gift with purchase. Guys, you can read all of this. Team incentives, you got to incentivize the team. If we get to this goal, we get to go to the AmSpa conference together. Whatever it is, that has to be a goal. Complimentary upgrades, monthly flash sales for members only. And if you're having trouble with people just banking and not spending, you can do 2 of those. You can do every month, our members are entered in to win $250 gift card. And if you spend and you're a member and you spend that, you're entered in to win a laser facial or whatever it is. But you want to incentivize that spend. And then birthday bonuses, 100%. So I've got a couple of wins to share. This is a good dear friend of mine, Julie Weiss, who owns the Face Institute. We just launched her membership. She just had the app itself live for 6 days. We launched the membership on December 26th, and in just 28 days, we've got 64 active members. No event. We didn't do an event for this. It was all online and through social media. $25K in monthly recurring revenue, and that's $304K annual revenue. Guys, huge win. Then a dear friend of mine and a client, membership launch, no event, the amazing Vanessa. So she lives in a very small rural town, population 10,000. She launched her membership. She now has 50 members. She's only had one person drop out because of scheduling, because they're very busy. 10K, above 10K in recurring revenue. 45 days she's had the app, solo injector, 16 members. She's got, in her small town of 10K, 3 competitors with RepeatMD and memberships. She's got 1 location. She has absolutely kicked ass on this. And I got this amazing message the first time she launched anything to do with her membership. She launched a promo. She didn't even get into work yet, and she had made $3,000. Absolutely amazing, to which I replied, congratulations on kicking ass with your app. Okay, so I would love to take this opportunity, because Vanessa is here live in New York, I would love to welcome Vanessa. I have some questions I would like to ask, so Vanessa, come on over. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you. Can you believe we're here?
No, I cannot.
This is amazing. I'm so excited that you're here, and congratulations on all the success.
Oh, me too. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure. We're going to rock this. I hope that we give lots of pearls to all the clinic owners and operators out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions that I think are really, the answers to this will help a lot of folks.
Yeah.
So in your launching of your membership, how did you roll it out internally with the team so that they could speak intelligently about the app and memberships, and what did you do for training your team?
I think the first thing we did was making sure that everyone was involved with the onboarding process. So when Shelly was our onboarding officer, I sent the link to all of our staff, booked off an hour in their schedules, and said, hey guys, let's get on here, let's get you fluent with the app, let's get you involved in the memberships, let's wrap the memberships around the services that we all offer, and then took all those pearls so that when clients came in to set up the memberships, it was easy for them to navigate the app, easy for my staff to say, hey, we have these 3 memberships, let's get on one. And then the checkout process was easy, win-win for everyone.
I love that. And so making it mandatory for the team to know the app inside and out, as well as membership.
Yeah.
I love that.
Making it easy for both clients and staff.
Easy is the way to do it.
Yeah.
100%. We need the easy button, right? That's RepeatMD.
Yeah.
So another question. What did you do in the first 30 to 60 days that you believed was the biggest quick win for your memberships for launching?
Yeah, so I mean, we did take quite a long time, a month to almost a month and a half to wrap our heads around something big was coming. So first, my social media manager, Jenny, we sat down with the schedule and said, okay, these few days we need to launch these social media campaigns, send texts out to our clients, send emails out to our clients, and then kind of plan week for week on how we're gonna give little sneak peeks. But I think the biggest pearl that I did was telling our members, giving them like insider information, hey, there's something new coming, new that you really want to get in on before anyone else does. So made our clients just feel like a little bit extra special. So giving them just a little, something's coming in a couple of weeks, let's get this started.
So creating that hype and creating a little, you got to get in on this.
Yeah, so I also kept like a little tally of all the clients that might have been good candidates for memberships, or ones that I felt were great candidates. And then once the memberships rolled out, I was like, hey,
check this out.
Check this out.
I love it.
Go on the app. There's something there for you.
I love it. I love that. And how about this one? What in the behavior changed with your patients for their spend when you launched memberships? Did you notice an increase in spend? Absolutely.
So involved in every single one of my memberships, there's a 10% additional savings. So I found that if they were part of the membership, they didn't have to spend, that $2,000 or $3,000 in their initial visit with me. We knew that we were working towards a long-term goal. All of my memberships are 12 months in length. So, small increments of payments throughout the entire year working toward a long-term goal. But this gave them the opportunity then to buy something else. Also with my other SDs, laser treatments, more facials, it just freed up that little bit of income that normally they would have, shoved in there, maybe had a little bit of buyer's remorse for spending that much money up front, but then allowed my SDs to take advantage of, 10% extra off of my facial, of course. More facials, more laser hair removal, more treatments in general, and then
because they're saving money on it. And 2, I find if you have a monthly payment, that flies under that husband radar pretty good.
Yeah, that goes on the wife visa, the mom visa. It don't need to go on the, well, even if it was on the husband's visa, it's not really a big deal.
Exactly, it just slides under like that acne facial that you're getting, and then your forehead doesn't move and he doesn't notice anyway.
Yeah, no one knows.
I know, I love it.
Why is your forehead not moving?
I love it.
Don't know.
Exactly, secret safe with us. So with hitting consistent 5-figure months of recurring revenue, what has that changed for you as a practice owner when it comes to financial stress or stress of the business, or being able to step away and knowing that you've got that money guaranteed coming in?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, I live in a town of just 10,000 people. Word of mouth for me is everything. I rely on, people spreading the word about me, being a genuine person, being a genuine provider to bring money into me. So what memberships does for me and my estheticians, my whole practice in general, is give me some freedom. Like, I'm a mom, I have 2 kids, I spend a lot of time at home, I really like to travel. Me and my husband spends a lot of time away. So even if I'm not there in the practice every single day, it still functions and it still brings in money. So if you're buying something new, if you're gonna buy new real estate, or if you're gonna buy new laser equipment or whatever that may be, you can wrap your head around the numbers. Well, listen, I have 20 grand coming in anyway. If I gotta go away on vacation for this amount of time, I can still make that laser payment, or I can still make that mortgage payment.
Yeah.
So for
freedom
me,
is where it's at. We're stepping into our freedom era in 2026.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Okay, and retention. So when we look at retention, it's a massive part. What are you doing right now to make sure that patients are not like saying goodbye to the membership for any reason? Why is it pulling it in?
So I always make sure that all of my clients avail of services that are new to us. So when I brought in a hydrofacial, I was like, listen, want to have a free hydrofacial on us for being a part of our memberships?
Wow.
Yeah.
We know
So-
the consumable cost on hydrofacial, so that's a really big treat.
Yeah, but
and
we-
they know that price too.
Right, and they knew then, like, maybe I'll buy another one for my birthday, or buy another one for our anniversary, or give one to my daughter for her graduation. So we kind of give these little pearls, little tips and tricks that when there's something new, we let them have the insider first. And then
love that.
we'll give them like little freebies along the way when skin boosters came in like to effect of our clinic. When they were doing those high-end injectables, especially my high-tier memberships, I will give them those little pearls. Hey, here's a good skin booster, and you know what? Next time they came to get their Botox done, they were having another skin booster.
I
So-
love that. And one of the things too is really leaning on your vendors for anything extra that you might give to your members.
Yeah.
So it's, can you support me? And you want to be sure that you're supporting your vendor. You can't be buying like 5 Disport and be like, hey, would you mind to supply my whole entire membership? Like you got to be careful on who you lean on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
support from members.
Yeah, we do like, monthly draws. We make sure that they're involved in any events that we're having. We just make them feel special. The birthday bonuses, again, that
Love
helps.
that.
That helps. And just in general, making them feel like they're part of our community.
Yeah.
And that they're not just, giving us those transactions. It's more about,
Yes.
hey,
Transformation
we
over-
will give you your rewards. Don't worry, we'll take care of you. I just had a client that was going through a really hard time with her husband with cancer, and you know what? She really needed some TLC because they don't look after themselves, right? We always take care of our kids, take care of our husbands, and forget about ourselves.
Right.
So I put a little TLC bag in the front of my clinic and was like, hey, there's a little TLC bag at the office for you. Just some masks, some treatment masks, foot masks, all those
Beautiful.
goodies.
Just
Right.
self-care gifts.
Right, of course, because listen, she's been a long-term client, long-term member. Of course, I was going to celebrate her.
I love that. And so last question, Vanessa, do you think that you would have this level of success without RepeatMD? Could you do it without?
Never, because like I said, I'm a mom. I'm a solo injector. I'm a business owner. I have 50 jobs.
Yes.
So this just makes things, oh my goodness, so much easier. I remember the gentleman there talking a few minutes ago about how the transactions are just taking care of you. Before we'd have to do all these manually, like it just takes so much time, and for me, time is absolutely everything, and it gives me such freedom for my life. And what else would you really want when things are just done for you? And plus, it's a platform with everything included, rewards, your products are there, selling services for you, the AI features. I mean, my gosh, everything is pretty much handed to you on your phone, right?
On a silver platter. That's right.
Take less is no-brainer for everyone.
No-brainer. I love that. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited. I hope that was valuable. I am over the moon that you are joining us today, and I have enjoyed every minute of sharing pearls with you, sharing Vanessa with you, sharing stats with you, and I'm going to turn it back over to the man, the myth, the legend, Phil Sitter.
All right, folks, and just like that, we are back. And we are back with someone incredibly special, Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. Thank you for joining us today.
What a great intro. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome, you're welcome. So you do these and we're constantly engaged with you, talking about what you should do, and we're going to get to that, because I believe in business it's you versus you, right? And there's going to be lots of things that we talk about that are about yourself and showing up as a leader, but what we don't get to see is the fact that you're a world-class practitioner and you have a practice. And from my hometown, Houston, Texas.
Really? That's
Yes.
oh, well, you gotta come on over for dinner. Everything is bigger in Texas, just so you know.
That is correct. And it is a lot colder here.
Yeah.
You're on your book tour right now. You're like,
Yes.
what is snow, right?
There's a lot of snow, but also it's pretty cold in Texas right now.
Is it?
Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah, I moved to Connecticut, so I did a reverse migration.
Pretty cool.
From Texas to Connecticut, thinking about Texas right now. But so just getting right into it. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what health trends should practice owners be paying attention to drive patient demand?
Well, right now, obviously the landscape in GLP-1s and weight loss, but I think more importantly, body recomposition.
Okay.
And that is where the landscape is going. And there's one thing that I just want to touch on, which I love that you're doing, is that people think it's all about the brand. But what it's really about is being really good at what you do first.
Okay. What do you mean?
Well, meaning if we're going to treat obesity, or we decide that muscle is really the problem and that's the problem that we need to treat, then you have to become really good at the tactical skills of being able to provide that to patients.
Okay. And so what are some ways that like a practice owner hearing that, how would you go about that?
Well, the first thing, and I'm sure that you talk about this, is figuring out who your target audience is.
Right.
Who is it that you're serving? And I would say finding the problems that need to be fixed. So the trends that I think that we're gonna see is that we're gonna trade obesity for sarcopenia.
Okay.
Right? And we've heard for the last 50 years about this obesity epidemic.
Right.
But again, we've heard that through the lens of repetition.
Right.
And as humans, we're so good at hearing something and then that's the thing, and then we repeat the thing. Like, how about this? Women don't lift weights because they're afraid of getting bulky.
Right. I heard that in high school from like all the time.
Right.
Like all the time.
So
yeah.
my question to you is, how many women do you know that have lifted weights have become bulky?
Yeah, zero.
I'm still trying. And that's an example of that we hear something, but it doesn't necessarily translate to truth. And so right now, the forefront is going to be muscle. It's going to be body composition. Right. And because of the success of GLP-1s, this is the most successful weight loss. This class, they're going to keep coming out with multiple generations.
Right.
And so if I was a betting woman, I would say that the practice that gets ahead of this challenge is going to be the practice that then becomes the model.
Right.
And again, this is where the landscape is going. So getting really good from a practical standpoint at figuring out how you're going to test body composition. Again, there's these advances with MRI machines, and then using the data to be able to provide what does that muscle quality actually look like.
Right.
Because we're talking about trends. So
Yeah.
we're talking about what is the future.
Right.
And I think that this is part of the future.
I agree, and you see it with aesthetics and wellness converging in. Now we have longevity. We didn't used to have that word, but now it's a very popular word.
So like, what's the next word? I think I know what it is.
Yeah, what is it?
Muscle span.
Okay, muscle span.
Health span, lifespan.
Yep.
But really,
Yep.
muscle span is kind of the umbrella.
Yep. And so one thing that's very common for those wellness practices and now, med spas, et cetera, is people get on GLP-1s. They have incredible weight loss. Sometimes they look skinny fat, which we're trying to avoid, right? And so they will get a drop off, right? People do the medication for 3 months, they'll drop off, right? They'll gain the weight again and all those things. So as a practice owner, how are you creating, a retention strategy through your memberships and through your patients coming in to make sure we address not just the 3-month drop off, you got your weight and you move on. How are you addressing that?
Ultimately, it's about the quality of the practice that you provide. And we all know, again, the average individual will come off these medications within 2 years.
Right.
And then they're left in a worse place than when they started.
Yeah.
So solving for the body composition and the lifestyle components up front is everything. So prior to, and I think that also a portion of this is, as providers, and I think that you do a good job of curating that, it's not about judging what they want.
Right.
Who's it for us to say that those 5 pounds that you shouldn't be able to go on a GLP-1?
Of course,
Again, 5 pounds
Yeah.
might be on the lighter end, but 5 pounds, 10 pounds,
Right.
there has to be this autonomy and somewhat personal choice.
Right.
But also informed in that is how do we then have strategies? So my new playbook, exactly, highlights, and so the playbook actually has protocols that providers can use.
Oh, wow. So folks, this is what we're talking about here. We're going to get to that.
But it has protocols. So there's one thing that everybody does, and it's not brush their teeth. Trust me, I know. It's that everybody eats.
Right.
And if,
all the time.
Right. Maybe a little bit less with GLP-1s,
right,
but
sure.
overall, people eat. And
Right.
so how do we solve for that component? Because ultimately, what we're providing is we're building better, stronger, more resilient humans.
Right.
And so how do we build stronger, more resilient humans is that we give them programs that work. I mean, ultimately, we have to close that delta between being interested and then taking action,
Right.
which is mindset. I know that sounds crazy,
No,
but
that's right, yeah.
the bidirectional dynamic between the provider and the patients are really important. But then also saying, okay, here's a great nutrition plan. Here's how you're going to follow it. And then obviously they have to have the protocol for training.
Right.
And those modalities, those are the two biggest levers that you have to get that piece right.
Yeah. So what we're talking about is competing against the telehealth companies as a practice owner, right? Because people can go, it's a race to the bottom, get the cheapest GLP-1, maybe it's a good provider, maybe it's something from China, whatever it is, right? But what you're really talking about is this essence of people come to you for a deeper level of care, and also to provide that care, be upfront. That's why they're coming to you, which is a lot of times what people are missing with their memberships. They're trying to compete with, oh, you can do GLP-1s here, you can do weight loss here, you can do TRT here, you can do all that here. But what, at the heart of what you're saying is we're missing the conversation, the dialogue with the patients of that you're coming to me because I'm world class at what I do, and we're going to put you on this journey. And that's how we keep retention high.
And what would you say that, what would be a good retention rate?
So for us, we really want to focus on a 5% churn number, like no more than 5% of your patients dropping off.
So you want a 95%?
95% retention rate. And oftentimes practice owners, because they're not having these conversations of like a longer treatment plan, and that's why you stay in the memberships. We talk about wellness banks, investing in yourself. And so at month 3, it's like, oh, well, I did it, and now I'm down 20 pounds. And then we just kind of let them go. Right? And so what you're saying is having that conversation of what this journey looks like. Is that right?
Yes, and I would ask, and I don't know this answer, what is the average retention rate?
Yeah.
What is average for?
So with weight loss, it can be, the retention rate can be really low.
For the practices.
For the practice, right? So at month 3, you could see 20% of patients cancel after they get their weight loss, right? After they lost their pounds. I'm good now, right? And so when a patient comes to you.
And our retention rate is well above 90%.
I believe it.
And we've been doing, because we just did all of these numbers.
Right.
And that's over the years.
Right.
I mean, we don't typically lose patients.
But you're having that conversation early. And how are you, how are they knowing to not just drop off?
It is about education.
Yep.
And also, what is their why? What is their ultimate vision?
Oh,
and here's what I would say is the stronger the why, the less superficial.
Right.
So if someone comes into the practice, it's like, well, I want to get healthy because of
Right.
my kids.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? I could put a dime in the gumball machine and that's the answer. It's a really superficial answer.
Right.
And it takes no time and no thought.
Right.
Because that is so accessible, it's typically not deep enough
Right.
to provide a real meaning when things either get easy or actually get tough.
Right.
So what does that mean? So right up front, we really get to know our patients. And it's interesting because the time investment, it's not even an investment in the medication
Right.
or the membership, it's actually the investment in the patient. And also a pre-screening process of getting great patients, but figuring out what really drives them, and that takes work on their end. The deeper that is, the greater the connection is, and the more that you can actually help them reach that and be reminded, because as we know as providers that they're gonna fall off in 2 months,
Right.
it's like getting on a train track and just you know that it's coming.
Yeah.
So how do you plan for what you know is coming?
Right.
You're not like, oh my gosh, well,
Yeah.
you don't
and
wait
you don't
for
just
it.
take it for what it is. You're like, oh yeah, everyone
No.
drops off at month 3.
No.
Right.
You plan for that, and here's what you say. Listen, my friend, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get on a nutrition, we're gonna do all of these things. And the first month, here's what it's gonna feel like. You're going to have struggles, and then there's like, PTA conference is gonna come up, and maybe you gotta go to football, and you lay out all of the things that are coming.
Right.
And then you go, okay, what's it gonna be? the weaknesses are coming.
Right.
What are you going to do when that shows up? And you actually walk them through it. And then the second that they're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing great. I've changed. And they go, doc, like, I don't need you. And they go, you know what? We talked about this. And here's what I typically say to my patients. I say, okay, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to get you feeling so much better that you, in 3 months, are going to say, I don't even remember feeling, like, I'm good.
Right.
And if you get ahead of it, and then you realize, okay, so what is their overall goal? And it's usually multifactorial. And then you begin to map it out and then tell them it's coming. Then you plan for when it's going to go sideways. Because here's what happens, is if you create a great dynamic, then in 6 months, they don't want to leave because they want to know that. So in a membership model, it's accessibility, and it's not if the storm is coming.
Right.
It's not. The storm is coming for everybody. But it's how are you going to weather that storm? And you create the relationship and the safety. It's kind of like, listen, I don't know, you might be different, but you probably don't call on your tax attorney every day.
No, I don't.
You're like, brother, I don't need you. But you know that they're there.
Right.
And there would never be a moment where you're like, well, I don't need this provider or a great lawyer. You should have a great lawyer, a great accountant, and a great doctor.
Yeah.
And you don't need those people every day, but you still keep them because you know you're going to need them.
Right.
And that becomes really important. And so having a good path and then verbalizing it to the patient, but also getting them to see, you know, we know that in the first month's going to be hard.
Yeah.
You're going to want to quit a million times. And
Right.
then when you get through that second month, okay, now you're feeling good. Now you've bought a new wardrobe. Now what are you going to do when you feel like you don't need me by month 3?
Right. And how do you have that conversation?
Well, it depends.
Because now I feel great. I've lost the weight. I'm good now. Right.
And then, but it's not just about weight loss.
Right.
So it's what are the other aspects
Exactly.
of their health that you have to address?
Right.
And then how do you continue to think about what that looks like? For some people, it's gut health. For some people, it's sleep hygiene. For some people, it's recovery. For some people, it's hormones. And so you know that that is going to happen, and
Right.
it's going to be a constant. You know, you don't go, okay, well, I've gotten, let's say it's hormones. Well, I've gotten my testosterone dose, and I'm good.
Right.
That's so reckless.
Yeah.
You know, and then also laying out how often you're getting blood work.
Yeah.
You know, by 3 months, we're repeating the blood work.
Right.
Just because you feel great, it doesn't mean you are great,
Yeah.
you know?
And so with those practices that are competing as telehealth, what you just said, that's the playbook. Right?
Yes, the playbook is,
We're making those connections, deep connections with people on a full journey of why they choose us, right, the practitioners, versus just get something online.
and the other thing that I will say is be really good at curating the patients. So
Yeah.
there has to be a good fit. You don't want to put a round, you know, like a square into a round hole. And so having a good upfront system as to how you vet, you know, we have questionnaires. We have like, okay, you know, and we're always evolving them because it's based on data.
Right.
It's not based on how you feel or, well, I feel like this person should have converted, but they didn't. And it's also understanding what are the questions that you're asking? How much have they already invested? Where should they go within the funnel? Are they going to, maybe you run a challenge, or maybe you run an educational series, or maybe you run a, I don't know, a nutrition membership, or
Yeah.
maybe this person needs a provider, like a physician. So it's understanding that, you know, what I would hate for the providers to do is it's not a numbers game, because there's a lot of sick people out there.
Yep.
It's not the numbers game, it's finding the right provider, the right patient for that group.
Yeah, that makes total sense. That was really well said. Thank you. So as we think about the space of longevity and aesthetics and wellness converging, right, we see a lot of trends, right? We see GLP-1s, which then, you know, creates the dialogue for hormone optimization, women hormone optimization. You talked a little bit about the FDA black box ban being removed and how powerful that is for women. And then peptides are now part of the conversation, which are slightly controversial, right? So how should a practice navigate, well, everyone's doing this and I should do it? How are you thinking about these things?
So I'm gonna share, and I'm not telling other providers what they should do, but I'm gonna share what we do.
Yep.
We have a very well-established practice with great credibility. I would say do not risk your reputation for short-term fads. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And I think understanding what is FDA approved, like what's happening with the laws. So I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
For the last 10 years, we've taken care of operators, war fighters. Those guys, they they come back with all kinds of things.
Right.
We've been using peptides for 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, like the Wolverine or
The
PPC,
Wolverine
whatever it
right,
is.
yeah.
We've been using it
Yep.
in clinical practice. These guys jump out of planes. You know, one guy, he deployed his parachute too late. I mean, you're like, come on, dude, right?
Right.
So again, there's protocols that work. They don't work for everybody. And the law is always changing. So a lot of what I would say is be an early adopter with items that are low risk. I'll give you an example. The M-Sculpt. So the M-Sculpt, and I love those guys, it's BTL. Are you
Yeah, very familiar.
Love them. They did, and I tell them this, they did a terrible job with the branding in the way that it's not a aesthetic tool. I mean, it can be, but really it's a longevity tool. And so to me, that's very safe. And you look at the evidence, this can improve body composition. After it improves muscle mass, it can also change CRP, you know, inflammatory markers.
Right.
That's amazing. That is now not getting into a gray area of a forever transitioning market of peptides.
Right.
Certain peptides are amazing, been around for a long time. Okay. And then there are other peptides that are always coming out with
Right.
some new and exotic.
Yeah.
I would not, me personally, I wouldn't risk a reputation, a short-term gain
Right.
because people are talking about it.
Right.
But what I would do is I would educate on it.
Yeah.
So there's a new GLP-1, there's a new GLP medication coming out. I'm going to butcher the name. There you go. You can butcher it. Perfect.
Retrotide, yeah.
So
I'll butcher it for you.
I appreciate
Retro
that.
something.
Okay, yes, that one.
GLP-3 now.
There you go. So it's not readily available for human use.
Right.
You being the first person out of the gate using that without, say, completion of phase 3 trials
Right.
doesn't make you an early adopter. It makes you a risk taker.
Yeah.
And I think certain things you can take risks on, but not when it comes at patient safety or chasing a fad.
Right. My saying for that is you don't necessarily want to be a pioneer because they have arrows in their back.
There you go.
Right? Like
Maybe
the first
for
settlers, they
certain
got arrows in their back, right? But
Yeah.
but as you know, as it's meeting those levels of control, FDA, et cetera.
And then
it's
you be
time.
on top of that.
Then
So
be on
the
top of
other
it,
thing
yeah.
is the velocity at which information spreads.
Right.
So there's practicing really good medicine. It's funneling the right patients in, figuring out who it is that you're serving. So we don't have, this is unusual, we don't have an avatar
Yeah.
of, so our patient is a 50-year-old female in Minnesota.
Right.
Or she is the 45-year-old in Arkansas and she's
Right.
got 3 kids and
Right.
people think that they paint this avatar. And that's great, but here's what I think. I think that it's not a physical avatar, it is who is this person? This is a person that is deeply committed to feeling better and they've tried everything.
Right.
And they fail because of, X, Y, and Z. Or this is a person with this group, like we have, for me, for my patients, I have the, like the operators, the warfighters, I know exactly who they are.
Right.
It's gonna take me, brother, it's gonna take me 2 years to convince you
Yeah.
to get your colonoscopy.
Right, yeah.
But before I even get there, if I offer you testosterone, you're all in. Like, just
enough.
give me good hair and testosterone.
Yeah, fair enough,
So
yeah.
I already know that this is what this is gonna look like.
Right.
And I already know that if I can get one of his buddies to tell him how important this gut test was,
Yeah.
then we can make moves.
Yeah.
And then the other side are the female entrepreneurs. The female entrepreneurs, they like talking, again, this is our avatar. They can get stuff done, like they got it.
Yeah.
But here's what they need. They need to be listened to.
Yeah.
But they also don't need a ton of fluff. They're like, okay, so tell me the evidence. What is the protocol? What can I expect? And I wanted, knowing your patient, I want it printed out. I want it organized. I want the spreadsheet. And I also want tracking columns for this.
Right.
That's speaking their love language, and then you got to get them covered.
Yeah.
And so it's understanding what works. And again, it's not like the avatar. It's like, who are they mentally?
Yeah.
It's not the external
Right.
piece, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. And you're having those conversations early, right?
Oh,
To
yeah.
understand just not those superficial meanings, but what they're really after. And you're spending time. I think one of the beautiful things that you said is that upfront time is why you have that retention rate.
And I got one more
Oh,
tip.
please, yeah.
And if you guys are out there and you're looking for a job, I got you covered. Hire really well.
Yeah.
Take your time and hire for character and competency.
Yeah.
Know who you're hiring. And when you find those, so I think that we have unicorns in our practice.
Yeah.
You hire them and you put them in leadership positions and you allow them to be gatekeepers for others. So if there are other providers, we have providers that reach out to us all the time. You assess their character, but then you interface them with your unicorns, and then you begin to see, okay, so what's this person's motive? Are they in it for the long haul? You don't want patient-provider turnover.
Right.
It
Which is one of the,
destabilizes, it's terrible.
number one issue. Yeah.
And so it destabilizes the patient. And so the other thing that I will say about that, there's one way around that. Number one, you hire well, but sometimes we don't. You have a support staff that's amazing. The support staff can also buffer if, say, a provider is short. Like, let's say you don't make the best hire. Now you have this physician in this position that's very, it's a vulnerable position for the patient.
Right.
But you have a great, what we call them is like a patient liaison. And that patient liaison knows their favorite color, knows their dog's name, knows what they have for lunch. There is a way around it. They know when that medication refill is coming. Hey, Sarah, you ready for this? this medication. They are 10 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And so that allows people to feel cared about and actually be cared about.
Right.
And that's that's another great hire.
Yeah. So in the world of unicorn hunting, right?
Good luck.
But like finding yeah.
I'm hiring.
finding the right people. Is there, and this is a topic I spent a lot of time on, but just in general, for you, your brand, your values, how do you integrate that into a hiring process? Or like what is something that you've picked up around hiring to try to get more of those unicorns? We all miss, I miss, you miss, we all miss, but when you get it right, what are some of the things that you feel like, okay, if we follow this process, we get it right more often than wrong?
Track record.
Okay.
Do not skip references and know who those references are.
Yeah.
What is the relationship?
A lot of people skip references.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
No way. So find references, but also ask around. Typically, so we don't hire entrepreneurial doctors.
Okay.
Because I want to hire people that are in for the service.
Yeah.
Right. You
Part
don't
of
want to.
service, yeah.
You don't want to hire another physician that is going to learn and then leave.
Right.
Or I have hired those, but I knew it was for a short period of time.
Yeah.
One of our physicians, he's amazing. I knew, and I was like, listen, brother, you're going to come in here and you're probably going to be here for 2 years.
Right.
No, Gabrielle, no, I'm not. I'm like, listen, part of my job as an owner is knowing who's in front of me.
Right.
Whether you admit it or not, I have to know who you are.
Yeah.
So when we hired a great doctor, and I knew that he was going to leave in 2 years, but he was so great that I felt comfortable hiring him.
Right.
And guess what? 2 years later,
On the dot.
it was very close.
Right.
Because again, if you spend enough time in business
Yeah.
and enough time as a provider, listen, a great doctor not only recognizes patterns of diseases, but they recognize patterns of people.
Yeah.
And that's what makes a really great provider.
Yeah.
So in unicorn hunting, figure out what is that person's motive. What we look for is very service-oriented, humble individuals.
Yeah.
We're not looking for people that, because again, you're putting them, if they are a provider that wants to be like a front runner, how much time do they like seeing patients?
Yeah.
From my schedule, I love doing research, I love reading, I love patient care, but I love it 1 day a week. And then I know that 1 day a week is also going to be consumed by calls and other things for those patients, but I know
Right.
where I want to spend my time.
Yeah. With the patient.
Right, and then that is that moment. Our Dr. Lisa, I hate to tell her if I'm not feeling well because I know I'm never going to hear the end of her. I love her. I love you, Dr. Lisa. I hope you're not watching this. You better not be. But this is her passion. This is what she
Right.
does. This is what she lives for.
Yeah.
It is in her DNA. It is not contrived, and it's applauded and awarded. And also, we pay our physicians really well. When you find those unicorns, treat them really well.
Yes.
And but really understand: is it that they are there for service? What are they really interested in?
Yeah.
And I think that because listen, you do need physicians that are going to go out there and teach. You need physicians that are going to go out and be like, okay, well, in our practice, we're going to go to this local spot or this country club or gym, and we're gonna teach you everything. And then this is gonna be our recruiting physician. This physician is gonna go out there and they're gonna teach, and hey, if you wanna be a patient in the practice, you know, it's not just the velocity online.
Right.
People really value, like us sitting down, I've seen you on Zoom, this is way better.
Yeah,
right?
right.
And then this creates a dynamic and a relationship.
Right.
But again, there's that, so you need that physician, but you also need the unicorn, and just, again, hire well by asking a ton of questions. And the other thing I would say is don't look for what you want to see.
Oh yeah. If you're a business owner, a lot of times you're an optimist.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
really
right.
want, you know, like
Yeah,
you really want
that's
to
a good
hire
one.
that person
Yeah.
because,
Because you can see the gap they fill, but you don't really take the time.
or you don't want to listen to the fact that you know this hire is,
Yeah.
is like a
Your
dangerous hire.
intuition's a powerful thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
Yeah, with building our business and just through the years of, you know, having all the businesses we've had, humble, hungry, and kind are the three things that I think about. Humble, hungry, and kind. Do they have humility? Are they hungry to grow, hungry to learn, hungry to expand, right? And are they kind? And I think that will probably resonate with you.
It
right?
does.
Yeah.
And I would say for the hunger part, are they hungry to go out and do their own thing?
And then that was a great point. Yeah.
Or are they hungry to be of service?
Yes.
So like
That's such a great point.
So like for our physicians, so I currently still do research.
Yeah.
With my colleagues at Baylor. We recently published a paper on sexual function and muscle mass.
Mm-hmm.
This may come as a surprise, probably to nobody, but the stronger and the more healthy muscle mass you have, the greater sexual function.
Yeah.
This is amazing. So what we do is we have teaching rounds within the practice. Here are the things that we're learning.
Yeah.
This is hot off the press.
Oh, that's
haven't
great.
we haven't even published this.
That's great.
And so here are the new protocols that we are seeing used that are safe in research,
Yeah.
that we are using for randomized controlled trials on patients. And this is the off-label use and how we can use it. So we provide and spend a lot of time teaching within the practice.
Yeah.
And then, and so it's filling the
that's
gap,
great, yeah.
right? So what is the need of the unicorn? How do you make them a better provider? The way you make them a better provider is you teach them.
And that's how you help your retention within your own team, right? The more they're learning, the more
Yes.
they're growing. Sometimes we as business owners forget, like, what about reinvesting back in our team? We're so busy doing the thing that we forget
It can
one of the
be
greatest
hard.
sorts of retention is actually making sure that person is learning and growing, because that's what we all have a deep need for,
Yes.
right? And a want, especially if you've hired right.
Yes.
So let's talk about being a business owner.
Okay.
Right? It is, you know, you're on your book tour, you're here, you're running around, I'm sure all over the nation, right? This concept of you versus you, practice owners running on empty, right? Or leaders running on empty. What's your advice to them, right? Like, what are the steps that they should take as they have busy schedules and they're so busy doing their thing? What are your non-negotiables of health?
Okay. So this is a great conversation and probably even one that's important for you as
I can't wait to listen.
extremely
It's for
successful.
me. You guys,
Okay.
This is my part.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So there's a few things to think about. The first thing is you cannot outgrind your biology. You cannot
Grind culture.
You cannot outgrind it.
Yeah.
You cannot outgrind your physiology.
Right.
Now that being said, certain people are wired. Do you know that my husband is in his surgical training, becoming a doctor in a second career?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like crazy,
they-
right?
Well, a whole new career, yeah.
Like, this is crazy,
Yeah.
second career.
Yep.
So his biology, I'll give you an example, and just to frame this up, is he's in urology. He had boards coming up, so they have these boards, whatever. So what does he decide to do? I'm like, honey, it's 4 a.m, why are you wearing, like, are you gonna go play Rocky? He's like, honey, I gotta go run, I'm gonna run a race. I'm like, that is the biggest procrastination tool that I've ever seen. He's like, I'm gonna go run 50 miles. Okay?
Is that
So his
husband?
biology, like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is, but I say this because his capacity, I could never do that.
Right.
But this is his own, like, this is how he functions.
Right.
A rookie entrepreneur does the following. And I don't mean this, and this is for the physicians. The rookie physician, the rookie business owner chases the highs and lows. So what happens is they're chasing the ebbs and the flows because they think that that's part of normal entrepreneurship.
Right.
Okay, so we have to frame that up. And when I say rookie, I don't mean the amount of time, because you and I both know entrepreneurs who are very successful, and when you call them, they're just like, they're like toast.
Yeah.
So burnt out, I'm exhausted. Because here's the thing, that the most successful people that I've ever seen, I've taken care of and do take care of some of the most successful, and it's not just monetary, but just the most elite humans that you can imagine. Their one overarching quality, do you know what it is? It's going to be totally counterintuitive.
I'd love to know. I'm ready to hear it.
They're neutral.
They're neutral?
They're neutral.
Okay.
You're like, that is the most that doesn't make you a lot of friends at a party and no one wants to hang out with you. That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Right? So the rookie entrepreneur is so like this event, the more amped up you would get for this event, let's just say, as you were like, oh my gosh, I'm not sleeping, I'm being put, like, as high as you allow yourself to go, I promise you, my friend, is as low as you will fall. And so at that peak, right before the big event, right before the big sale, you are vulnerable.
Yeah.
You are vulnerable as a business owner, you are vulnerable as a provider, you are vulnerable as a husband, as a father, because it's at that peak that we're just about to hit that crash. Like after, how many times, because I have experienced this a million times, after a massive event, are you like, I'm just exhausted.
Yeah.
That's
of course,
it.
Yeah.
I'm tired. There's like a down. Maybe you go on vacation, and then after that vacation, you're like, oh my God, I'm so depressed.
Yeah.
So those are predictable ebbs and flows. And the more steady that you can be, and this, again, this is what I've seen just throughout my career, is that if you can not celebrate all the wins and just be in check with where you are, that you never allow yourself, it's kind of practicing friction on the moment to moment so that you never go too high and you never fall too low. Because again, right after that big, amazing thing that you did, you're your most vulnerable for bad habits, for, let's say, someone who likes to drink.
Right.
They put this massive event on, and there was this one entrepreneur, incredibly successful, puts on this massive show in Vegas, makes millions of dollars in a night, and every year I wait for the call.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah, just
Doc,
boom.
I'm so, like, I don't want to get out of bed. I just like ate a bunch of donuts, whatever it was.
Right.
So finally, what we did is I said, okay, this year, before you go out on stage, I'm sorry, friend, there is no loud music.
Right.
There is no push-ups, and you're not buying a Lamborghini as you're getting like geared up, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? It's just another Tuesday. You are going to get up and you're going to do what you do because that's what you do.
Right.
And so he went out, he went on stage, made millions of dollars, and then my phone never rang. Because he was like, I'm like, do you need me? And like, but this is confusing me.
Yeah.
He's like, Doc, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. And what he did is he had guardrails in place for that drop. So yeah, there's this inevitable drop, but it doesn't have to take you out. So you put pieces in place, like, let's say you know you're gonna be tired after this. You're not taking a day off from the gym, friend.
Right.
Maybe you're gonna go to the sauna.
Yeah.
Maybe you're gonna do a cold plunge. Maybe it's not your 1 rep max, but we're gonna put you in a position that we know is gonna increase your dopamine.
Yeah.
Maybe it's spend time with your kids or your dog, but it is protected time to kind of like get that dopamine back up, but it's not gonna be major because we didn't let you fall so far.
Right.
And so I know this was like a long-winded story, but it's important to illustrate it, is that the higher someone goes, the lower they fall, and you can train this.
Okay.
You can practice this. You can purposefully restrict. You can focus on turning it on and then turning it off. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with these details, but
I love that.
I feel like...
Yeah, no, I love that. For me, what I've learned, I don't know if you know, you might have known, run the same circles, Jesse Itzler, Sarah Blakely's husband, and he's a big marathon runner, incredibly successful, and I spent some time at his house for 3 days, and that is one thing that I learned, is his rituals and the things that he does consistently, and he also gets on very big stages, all those things. He just, I mean, this guy brings a sauna with him, right? Like, he has these rituals that always, he finds home base. So like you said, just another Tuesday. And as I've grown in business, I've understood, you know, through the highs and lows, that it's what are my consistent rituals for myself. I did a whole podcast about this, about just talking about like, if you show up for yourself and you do those things, you take care of yourself, you show up for everyone else. And oftentimes as business owners, what happens is we want to take care of the business and everyone else and this and that, and we almost think it's a selfish thing to take care of yourself. That's where that grind culture really comes in.
And grind culture is so fun.
Yeah.
It's so addictive.
And you can do those things, right?
Listen, we could outgrind
of course.
anything.
Yeah,
anyway. And
you
everybody
know,
listening,
of course.
everybody watching, they're ready to do that.
Of course.
But that is so risky.
Yeah.
Because the grind has to be steady and controlled, but it has to be within your control. It
Right.
can't be you are grinding because you are chasing that
Right.
dopamine.
Yeah.
So
I just try to come back home to my rituals
I
as
love it.
fast as possible, right? It's like the vent, to your point, the next day get back into it, and I found that be, that's that even keel, right? Where I can do this thing and then I can go back the next day.
Smart.
And
So
and not, I saw,
smart.
yeah, I saw that with like people do juice cleanses, right? They do the juice cleanse, right? And then
I'm terrible at it. I'm just kidding.
day 7, right, is like they're done with the juice cleanse and they eat a burger. You're like, and they celebrate, right? They start drinking alcohol. You're like, wait, what was the point of the juice cleanse, right?
Totally.
So yeah. But thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
we don't
it's
get to hear
smart.
that often about you and about being a practice owner and having your practice. And so I think the things that you said, especially the intentionality, that's the word that I would use, the way that you're describing it. You're so intentional.
Oh, yeah.
And your success has been, not overnight, right? People see you online and they think, where did she come out of last 2
it's
years?
called 25. It's called 25 years.
Right.
And then I'll say something else is that I honestly think one of the reasons I've been so successful is that it's not personal.
Yeah.
Like it's not about me. So last night, which by the way, you should have been there, we had, and there might be, if you're still in town, there's another event tomorrow, but we had a massive book launch party.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, the lawyer for the Pentagon was there.
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah.
And people were like, aren't you exhausted? This and that. And it was like, hey, friends.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it wasn't about me.
Right.
And I think that in order to sustain, like for you, you're doing this, I have a feeling this isn't about you.
Yeah.
It's what can you do to give back? And I think when that's true, if it's really true
Right.
and it's not about you, then the feeling and the energy, it comes from the right place,
Right.
and that well is infinite.
I've been a big follower of Tony Robbins and done all of his events and do a lot of stuff with him. And what he said that really struck me, and this is exactly at the heart of what you're saying, the difference between push motivation and pull motivation. If you're pushing every day, eventually you're going to give out. But if something, and when you said it gave me goosebumps,
Yeah.
right? When you feel like you have a calling, right, and you feel like, hey, this is what I was made for, which is what, like, that is you. This is what you were made for, right? Then
Yes.
every day it re-energizes you. And when I spent time on, like, really actually sitting with that question, because people think like, oh, like, you just get the answer to that. No, you have to sit with that.
But if you just get the answer like that, it's not the right answer.
Exactly. And so for me, my background, 10 years or 12 years restaurateur, one restaurant, then went multi-restaurant, 1,200 employees. And today what we do is we service small businesses in the aesthetic and wellness space. But before that, I was a restaurateur in a small business, doing the grind, like very tough in the restaurant space. And so when we started creating software, first with restaurants and eventually in the aesthetics and wellness space, I realized if I could just help, right? If I could just help them, if I could get them faster, then ultimately
Didn't that drive
we could
you?
transform more lives.
Wasn't that so
Oh yeah,
much more
it gives me goosebumps talking about it as well.
motivating?
Of course, and this masterclass that we're doing, we have like 1,500 practices live. It's totally free. It comes from that heart of saying, hey, let's help. Because if we can, and we can help these business owners, we can grow, and they can take the baton and transform more lives. And so you're exactly right, and that's what energizes me.
And I love that. And I would say, to your point, they have to get really clear on why they're doing this.
Right. You have to sit with that.
And you have to really be
Yeah.
honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Like, let's face it, you're going to make it easier for them, but this is not easy.
No, none of it's easy.
And you know
Yeah.
what? Like, it's not.
Yeah, you got to be a little crazy. Like, it's
You gotta be
not
a lot
easy.
crazy.
Like,
But
For sure.
if you're doing it because, so these new guidelines changed, the new protein guidelines. You think that just happened?
right, yeah, no.
Do you think that
took
just
a lot. That took a
happened?
lot, yeah.
It didn't just happen.
Right.
And if I thought that was going to be something that was never going to, I didn't know if it was ever going to
Right.
happen. But the moment, the drive, you will want to quit.
Yeah.
And the reality is, you guys are going to want to quit. But if it is so much more meaningful than your bank account,
Right.
and then your thing, and then that car and that house,
Yeah,
then you're not going to quit.
right.
And it's those people that can stick it out. And I'm going to tell you one more thing. That winning, there's two types of winners. There's, I'm going to win and you're going to fail. Or you know what? I'm going to win and you're going to win and we're going to win.
We're all going to win, yeah.
Then that's a whole different game.
Right.
And I think that, and that goes with the same hand of how do we do what is most meaningful, like really meaningful, and then how do we do it together? I think that that creates an environment of, I think that's one of the reasons I've been really successful.
I agree.
Because it's, I believe, if anyone knows me personally, I promise you,
This is
what
what you
can
do.
I do?
Yeah.
Like, how can we do it together?
Right.
Because selfishly, I don't know, it makes me feel better.
Yeah, and doing it alone can make you feel very empty, right? And so even as I'm hearing you talk and going to the very beginning of the conversation, this energy that you have, this heart of service that you have and why you're doing it, I know that if I was a patient and you were explaining to me, going all the way back to a membership, going all the way back to this, I can feel that, I'm drawn to that, I understand where your heart is, you have most definitely in my best interest at the top of your mind. And when it comes to like, hey, let's get you on this membership or this protocol, the conversation was already done 20 minutes ago, right? It's done. It's like, do you ever think about, I need to sell this patient? It's not even a conversation, right? It's never, like for you, it's not even.
What does this person need?
Yes.
So, and to be fair, I don't do sales, but we have a great team.
Right.
But also the team that we have, I'm not like, hey, Kylie, you got to sell X number of this, and this.
Right.
What does that person need, and what are you going to deliver?
Yeah.
How are you going to help them? How are you going to help them that they don't even know they need help?
Yeah.
And so I think it's being able to root for the person that yet isn't rooting for themselves.
Oh, wow.
And then figuring it out. I'll give you an example. So when I was in my fellowship, so I did a fellowship at WashU in nutritional sciences and geriatrics. And a part of the project of any fellow is like, we get to do a project.
Yeah.
And I was imaging brains. And this woman, I loved her. I'm sure you had your favorite restaurant owner or your favorite. Yeah. He doesn't have a favorite aesthetic owner, just so you know. But this woman, I imaged her brain, and she's like in her mid 50s, and her brain looks like the beginning of an Alzheimer's brain. And I was like, oh my God, we've failed her.
Yeah.
And so if I knew that, I would do whatever it took, even if she's like, nope, I'm gonna cheat on my diet, no, I'm just gonna take this GLP-1. I'd be like, no.
Right.
Okay, this is the trajectory you're going.
Yeah.
This is really what you need. And so part of it is knowing so much so, like, oh my gosh, I know what's coming for these people. And I think good salespeople reorient to, here's my number, I'm gonna sell you.
Right.
And then phenomenal salespeople are like, okay, what does this person need that they don't know they need? And I'm gonna solve it for them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stop at nothing to make sure that they know it.
Yeah. I think that's beautifully said. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So you have a special gift for the audience members today, which I thought was so generous of you, by the way. I was like, that's awesome. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing with this, your tour, the book, and then the gift that we're providing.
So this is the Forever Strong Playbook. It's the book that I originally wanted to write. And I hope all the physicians watching and all the providers think about the thing that they want to contribute. And so this was the book I originally wanted to write. And there are protocols in here that physicians, practice owners, anybody can use, and you can use them. This is how to eat. Here's a training program. Here's a high intensity interval program. It's all the programs that we use and then have been battle tested.
Yeah.
And there's recovery protocols. There's supplement protocols in there. It's, again, it's something I'm really proud of. And you know, we talk about protein and we talk about training, and you and I talk about business.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that's not what we're really doing here.
Yeah.
I think what we're really doing here is building stronger, more resilient humans.
Yeah. I
And
love
so
that.
this is the entry point. What you're doing is entry point. And then there's this bi-directional relationship between the physical and the mental.
Yeah.
You have to have both pieces right. And so I would just encourage, we talked about sales and we talked about building a practice and connecting, but the only way that that's gonna work is if you actually go through and you find the protocols that work. And the first chapter in this book is mindset.
That's where it starts. We have such an incredible rest of the presentation here for you today. So I'm just thinking about the value that we've already provided, and I hope that you can feel that value. And I hope so far that you've learned some incredible things at the Membership Masterclass, the 2026 Membership Masterclass. So let's get back into the presentation here. I think it's really like, we talked about a GPS, right? You have to know your target. Put down in the chat, let's get things going again. What was your goal? What is your goal for 2026? Put it back in the chat. You should have the piece of paper there, right? You should have written down, you should text it, email it to yourself. How much do you want to be, right, in terms of either paying members or, revenue per month? I'm seeing it come in right now. Everyone take a second, put in your goals to the chat, right? I mean, I don't know how metaphysical and everything and spiritual you guys get, but the reality is I always have my goals in front of me, because how do I know what I'm trying to hit if I don't have the thing in front of me, right? Okay, I'm seeing it in there. Fantastic. So let's talk about that, okay? When we talk about this sort of, triangle of success here, we were talking about product. Product in this case would be the right membership. You've heard about beauty banks, you've heard about weight loss, there's more to get into, right? And you've also talked about strategies, right? This room that we've been in here, this virtual room, we've given out strategy out of strategy, and we're not done. We have even more strategies, right? If you've got the right membership and you've got the right strategy, right, what are you missing in order to be truly successful? Well, it's simple. It's systems and tools. You have memberships, you have the strategy, you also need systems and tools in order to do this effectively. And so in order to be successful and to attract and retain the modern patient, I want to talk to you about what those strategies and those tools look like, right? And so ultimately, the key for us when we're building memberships, right, is to attract and retain the modern patient. And the reality of the modern patient is that they're the backbone of the economy. 73% come for regular treatments. 80% of them rank wellness and beauty as a top life priority, and they have a combined spending power of $2.5 trillion, okay? And the question is, what are modern patients, and what makes them so valuable? Well, the reality is they're starting treatments 10 years or more earlier than before, right? If you think about folks, I'm in my 30s, I'm starting treatments, right? My dad didn't start treatments in their 30s, right? So starting treatments 10 years or more earlier than before, right? And spending 20 to 30% more through memberships and financing, right? They're making this an absolute life priority. And then the final piece is they have real influence, right? Gone are the days where your referral system was just a punch card, right? If you're still using a punch card, that was 20 years ago. But today, they have lots of social influence that when you're taking care of them and they're posting on social and driving referrals for you, right? That's why we're wanting to attract and retain these modern patients. And the traditional patient might have started at 45 and they went, to 75 years old, right? They had an average patient spend. They visited about 4 times a year. A value, what they're spending at your practice, about $2,200 per year, $66,000 of lifetime value, right? From 45 to 75. Well, look at the difference of a modern patient. Starting at 30 all the way to 75, $350 spend, 8 times the frequency, right? $2,800 value, it's up 21%, and their lifetime value is 91% more, right? So if we're thinking about building a business and building a practice, right, we're thinking about, hey, how do we attract more of these modern patients? And the reality of these modern patients, and many of you are these folks, is their expectations have never been higher. Mobile first, personalization, VIP status, 24/7 access, convenience, gamification, branded experience, flexible payments. These are a mirror of our expectations as a consumer. And the truth is that our consumers, our patients, are being trained on how to do business and select the brands that they're doing business with. And so if you don't meet these expectations, the likelihood of them finding somebody else, a competitor that does have these things, is extraordinarily high. And so the difference is those who grow versus those who are stuck, right? It's like if you're not meeting modern patients in modern times with tools and strategies, right? You will get stuck because your retention is stuck, right? They're out there finding the latest and greatest, right? And the reality is that many of you, because we're still talking about the business of running a practice, have very low quality, all-in-one solutions, and they're just not cutting it, right? If you take a look at the screen here, who is going to actually buy or be inspired by your brand from any of these solutions, right? The one the far left looks like an app that was invented in 1996, right? The other one is guys, if we're running flash sales via email and that's our only strategy, how many unread emails do you actually have? For me, it's like 76,000 unread emails, and then we're wondering as practice owners, oh my God, no one's buying off email. You're buried in the inbox. Or we give them, hey, here's our membership, and like, yeah, it's on the phone and it's on our website, and we'll just buy it here. It's like no one's gonna read all that, right? That's just the reality, because your solutions that are running all these memberships, the reward systems, all of this experience is built to manage the back office. And so with Repeat, what we decided to do when we got into business, and we've done very well, is we're like, hey, let's do a great client experience that actually grows the business, because you have solutions to manage the back office, right? And so that's where really RepeatMD comes in. And I'm going to show you RepeatMD, right? I'm going to just walk you through very quickly exactly what it is and how we do, memberships and rewards and patient financing, all built into your own beautiful mobile branded app. And the reality is, when you use RepeatMD, your patients buy more. So rather than just talking about it, give me a couple minutes. I'm going to show you exactly how we get that done for you. So, let's take a look here. Am I going to be on screen? Okay, so I'll do a bit of a voice demo here. As you can see, right, it's your own branded app, right? So you just click, and there your brand is, right? Whatever your practice is, top left corner, Amora. It's personalized to me. I can see all the different things your practice has to offer. It's welcoming me right there, beautiful. Your memberships, your beauty bank, a platinum membership, a weight loss. Here, I'll get to this in a little bit. We have Adonis or Aria that are actual AI treatment advisors that you can have a full conversation with to really understand what are all the things that are right for me. And Adonis and Aria can actually make a sale for you. In fact, in the last 45 days, Adonis and Aria have made a little under $6 million of sales on behalf of practices, which I find incredible. You can explore all the best-selling services, beautifully branded, and notice the membership-based pricing, right? I'm immediately enticed by understanding, like, hey, here's what the regular cost is, but what is this membership about? Because I would get, better pricing because of that. If you're doing products, all of these things beautifully branded into your app. Also, on the Discover tab here, we can take a look at, hey, discover your body. You can book a sensitivity test right here. There's a Valentine's Day savings happening, right? I can earn a little bit of a discount on gift cards, right? All of these things completely on your mobile rewards app, because the truth of it is no one is reading the brochures, and Instagram is filled with Kim Kardashian and everybody else. Your message gets buried. But what I want to take some attention to is the shopping experience. We're going to get to memberships here in a second, because we also have the ability to see best-selling services. There's a little Valentine's Day sale going on. There's a custom category built by AI specifically for me. Or I can just browse individual treatments. There's an Emsculpt Neo. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon talked about that. I can click. I can understand what it is. I can see it's not only $1,600, right? That's for memberships, right? Pay $1,500, but notice here I can see as low as $70 a month. How much more approachable are treatments when the patient financing is built right into your app? I can see what it helps with. I can read the description. I can see the pre-care and the post-care instructions, right? All of this built right into the rewards app, giving your patients an opportunity to browse and to ultimately buy at any place, anywhere, at any time. Gift cards, all completely built within your rewards app as well. So whether I want to buy it for myself or I want to send to somebody else, I can even have an opportunity to click and send somebody a hint. So since we're talking about memberships, let's go back to membership. Here's a beauty bank weight loss membership. I'm going to click the beauty bank. I see, hey, right here built into the rewards app is not only the $99 a month that I'm going to get, it's banked in my account every single month. I have benefits, 10% savings on all of the services, on skincare, and 15% saving on its IVs. Not only that, I'm going to get a sign-up bonus of a free B12 shot right there as I sign up for the membership. So let's see how easy it is. And then final thing, 6 months member bonus, which is incredible for retention. I have an opportunity that when I become a member for 6 months, I'm automatically gonna get a bonus, and that bonus is going to be a free IV therapy, an energy boost IV. But watch how easy it is. Today, you're hoping, praying that people buy your memberships, you're giving them a flyer, when right here, I can click, become a member, it gets added to my cart, and then I can click checkout now, continue to checkout, and as simple as this is, with Apple Pay or a credit card, whatever they prefer, right, boom, right there, double click and done. So we're not having to spend all this time, energy, and conversation on like the process of membership and all of these other layers. It's easy to understand. The rewards are built in, right? The bonuses are built in, and boom, I become a Beauty Bank member. And not only that, I get to select the treatment that I want for, because I just got my bonus, right? But what's nice about it is also to the rewards program, right? So boom, now I've unlocked another reward, which is this, right? And I can see it all right here in my wallet, right? So boom, Valentine's Day, if you're doing specials and all of these other layers, it makes it super easy for you to talk about all the things about your practice, your memberships, and make it, most importantly, easy to buy. And as I promised, I'm going to be quick. I'm going to move right into the admin panel to give you a little bit of an opportunity to see what the reporting shows, right? So we have Jim coming up here, just right here in a little bit, a couple minutes. And with Jim, I can see, hey, how many active members do I have, right? Here, right here in the RepeatMD dashboard, they're doing over $100,000 a month in their membership program. They've done $1.2 million. What an incredibly valuable business they're building. Not only one location, but 3 locations with these type of results. And I can see how their recurring revenue is projected to stack. They're having a growth month this month. I can see their trends. I can see not only about how much they're selling, but what their churn rate is. I mean, take a look, folks. This is incredible for your visibility and understanding of how you're growing as a business. And with that, I also have the ability to see how the AI agents are doing, Adonis and Aria. And I'm gonna go back to the phone here in a second to really tie that home, to show you what that conversation with the AI agents look, but I wanted to show you their performance. So Adonis and Aria here have saved over 40 hours for these clinics, right, for Jim here. And they've had 92 sessions. Adonis and Aria have sold over $66,000, right? They've sold a Moxie, they've sold filler, they've served halos. And I have the opportunity to click here and see what are the details, right? What did AI sell? Or have an opportunity to actually see the exact conversation and how the AI is having these conversations, right? So I can click here, and I can see, boom, this is Michelle, and what was that conversation like? She has an upcoming event. Here's Aria, that's the avatar that Michelle chose, and she's having a full conversation right here at 7 o'clock in the morning, folks, right? That she has an event, she just woke up, probably before taking the kid to school, hey, I have an event in 2 weeks. Then Aria is recommending treatments. Here's what I would suggest based off the results and the no downtime, and then ultimately, will make the sale on behalf of the practice, right? And have these full length conversations to not only introduce treatments, but actually sell them. So tech team, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the phone again to show Adonis and Aria. And I just wanna bring this home for you all to show you the power of not only having AI actually have treatments for you, but actually educating your patients at any given time, right? So I'm just gonna click Adonis. That's the avatar that I chose. And then I'm gonna have the ability to talk to Adonis and have a full conversation within that. So boom, let's go here. Oh, okay. Well, okay, let me show you this here. Final piece I'll show you. I'm getting pinged on its time, right, is the referral program. The ability to create referrals for your business with the click of a button. So the easiest $50 you'll ever earn, I can click and I can refer a friend. Boom, grows your practice for you. I just sent a referral. Now, for me, I can track those referrals and see, hey, I just sent a referral. Every time I get a referral, someone comes in, I'm closer to my goal. And if I hit 3 referrals, I'm gonna get $150 in repeat cash. So that's a quick demo of the application. That's a quick demo of the admin, quick demo of Adonis and Aria and all of its possibilities to grow your practice. That being said, let me bring in those who are actually doing it. So I'm gonna welcome right here, Ali and Ali and Aaron. We're gonna bring the stools up here. Welcome to the stage. Yeah, come on in.
Okay.
So, you all are so incredibly successful within your practice, right? So, if we could pull up their success right here on the screen, I just want to show exactly what I mean by that, because you're in very rare air where you have not only one practice doing $100,000 a month, but you have 2 practices doing $100,000 and one coming right thereafter,
Right there,
right?
yep.
And so, you know, doing right here, 100,000, 104,000, 73,000. We've been talking about this concept of success leaves clues. That in no way is accidental. That is very purposeful.
Yes.
That's very intentional. And so I just got a few questions for having that level of repeatable success. So, for those who don't know, right, what are your roles in the practice?
So I am Allie. I am the marketing director for all 3 locations at GEM.
My name is Erin. I am the practice manager specifically in our Munster location.
Amazing. And so what's your roles within the business on the membership side?
So to speak for both of us, we were very integrated in the development of our memberships. We had lots of meetings and lots of time and effort that we put in to these memberships before we launched them. I do a lot of the marketing, I do a lot of the promotional material, back-end app stuff, text messaging, and then
I do a lot of, I've helped with market research along the way. What can we do to change our memberships? What can we do to simplify them, to make them better? Touch points with our providers amongst GEM, specifically in my location, as well as following up with clients, helping the client care coordinators engage in sales. It's kind of a group effort.
And so because your success has not only been predictable and it's been repeatable, right? You're doing some things different that are creating all of this level of success. And when we talked, you've actually tried to launch memberships a few times, and then one day just clicked for you. And that one day was a strategy, right? Where you changed your memberships into a new membership, right? And so tell us a little bit about that membership. What is it now? Or what did it used to be and what is it now?
So they were a little confusing before. We had 3 memberships, a weight loss, an aesthetic, and additionally a Botox. It took a lot of mathing for the client. If I pay this fee, but I get this discount, or okay, I can get a facial once a month, but what else? And I have to pay for an upgrade. And it got to be to the point where we've recognized at GEM that if it's not simple, it's not for us. We've done a lot of work in trying to assess our competition and figure out what can we do to make our memberships better than anybody else's and make sense for GEM additionally. So right now we have 2 memberships. We have an Emerald and a Diamond. The Emerald is $199 a month. You get a 15% discount off of everything that we offer at GEM. And Diamond, same thing, but it's a $299 fee and you earn a 20% discount. We do sales that our members only
exclusive only member
have
sales.
access to.
Yes. I think something important also we did that we changed from our previous memberships was we made it a beauty bank. So nobody felt like they left money on the table. It was always going, if they didn't touch their membership for 6 months, they had that amount in 6 months to spend at GEM. They didn't have to pay a fee. It felt very like in the client's hands, so.
Yeah, and that's such a huge point is we're saying, hey, old membership models, and I'm sure I just bought one like 2 years ago and I canceled immediately when this happened. I bought one at Stretch Labs, right? So it's like I get stretches. Well, I went on summer vacation. I come back, and what did Stretch Labs tell me? Oh, well, you know, they don't roll over and this and that. And I said, well, they don't roll over. I should be here every day stretching with how many credits I have.
Absolutely.
And they're like, oh, no, they don't roll over, da-da-da-da. So what did I do? You take a guess.
Canceled it.
I canceled it, right? So folks, if you're still out there doing non-rollover memberships, I'm telling you that's what's killing your retention rate.
Absolutely.
So the two things that you guys did is you tried a lot of different memberships.
We did.
You settled on a beauty bank. You understood the value it would bring to your clients. You made it simple, the messaging clear, and then now here comes the whole staff, you know, on the marketing side, making that messaging consistency. So I'd love to know about that. And on your side, as the practice manager, talking about it all the time. So on the marketing side, I'm curious, what have you found as being like, is it consistency? Or like probably, but also like what has been the right channels for you to market your memberships?
I would say that GEM does a really good job of marketing in all aspects. So we have it when you walk in, we have a QR code that you're gonna check in, and we have it on our computers, we have it in our new client bag. So, and then in the consults, providers are constantly reiterating the membership talk track. We're always bringing it up. If a client calls and they're asking pricing, we're going to membership. We're gonna not just give that this is a starting price, but let me talk to you about those memberships and why we can get your price lower and the benefits of a membership.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
And from the practice side?
So from the practice side, again, it starts with that first phone call. A client care coordinator answers the phone. They set the tone for the client's experience from day one until the end of their treatment series. Like Allie mentioned, hi, I'm looking for the cost of Botox. We don't want to go right into what that cost is first. We're going to credential GEM. Why are we the best? Why are you calling GEM? After we've done that, it's, okay, have you looked into our memberships? Can I tell you about our memberships? Here's how you can save. And then when we talk about the price of Botox, you know, it is $14 a unit. However, that is before any GEM incentives, membership incentives that we can offer you, and any incentives from the company who makes it as well. So we really aim to make sure that the client understands that there's a reason you're coming to GEM, and there's a reason that we have these memberships, and they're made to incentivize the client.
Yeah. And so, you know, you have an EMR, you have a website, you have all these things, but you've made the choice to say, hey, we're doing this on RepeatMD.
We did.
What was the transformation for your business like when you started using RepeatMD with your memberships, and how has that become part of your process today?
I can speak on at least the back end of things. When we first had memberships through our EMR, it wasn't easy, it was confusing. With Patient Now, it's so clean, it's so simple to send a text.
With who?
Sorry, with RepeatMD.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
yeah,
with RepeatMD, yes. Patient Now is our EMR. With RepeatMD, we can so easily send a text to just members. If we are having a slow week, we can send that, let's fill the books, let's offer a member exclusive deal and things like that, so we can pull data, we can see how many check-ins they've done. It's made it so easy to track these clients and see their trends and like what we want to offer them and different rewards and check-in rewards. So I think just like having all that in our hands has made it really nice, that we never had before.
With RepeatMD, one thing that I love is any smart business cares about retention. Retention is something that we focus on so much at GEM. And with using Patient Now, our EMR platform, it has a membership option, but it's terrible. We can't check retention. We can't make sure the client is using it. We can't offer them free rewards and services. We can't incentivize the client. Those options aren't there. It's just enroll them in a membership and auto bill. And we're not looking to just take a patient's money every month. That doesn't do us well.
Right.
We want a client to come in and from start to finish, we don't want there to be a finish. We want a client to come in and do a full treatment plan with us. Our injectors don't want to see someone in their chair. We want clients, but we want to treat a client with everything that they need, and RepeatMD allows us to do so much more than any EMR system possibly could, and it's been a blessing for our business.
Totally.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. So one of the pieces that we talked about as we were preparing for this was this incredible story of staff buy-in, right? when you first started rolling out your memberships, your staff being like, oh no, we're gonna do membership-based pricing, it's gonna give people, 20% off, like I get it, it's VIP pricing, but you walk them through a process and then the results spoke, for themselves.
They do, they speak for themselves.
Can you share a little bit about that journey?
Yeah, so one of our nurses, she's actually our top revenue provider in our company. She's the nurse that brings in the highest amount of revenue, and in the last couple of months she has cut her hours monthly by 65 hours, and since the memberships have rolled out, she's actually doing more with less hours. If you have a client that's in your chair and they want Botox and let's just say a full facial balancing filler treatment, but they can only afford 2 syringes when they really need 5, these memberships can allow your client to experience a discount and receive a treatment that's going to make a difference rather than just, well, this is what I can afford, this is what I'm gonna do, and then the results were okay, I'm probably not gonna do that again. Right. If a client can get the 5 syringes they need up front because you were able to offer them a discount, they're going to be so happy that they're going to continue treatment. And that's where it's made such a big difference from our providers. But if your providers don't believe in the memberships, it's never gonna work.
And so for you all, what did it mean financially, right? Because at first it was like, okay, we believe in it.
Sure.
Just give us a little bit of trust that it's gonna work. What happened to sales? You don't have to share exact numbers, but what happened to sales afterwards?
They're higher, and any provider that's going to hear, well, I'm commission based. I'm doing a treatment that's 15 to 20% discounted, but you're doing more. Yeah. Sally, who could only treat 2 areas of the face because they can't afford it, is now doing more. You're actually going to make more. Yeah. And when a client can afford that treatment and feel the difference, I had a client in Munster who, when we looked at her, we're like, wow, she needs 8 to 10 syringes to get what she's looking for. And so we started with, she used RepeatMD, she signed up for the membership. She started with 6 syringes and we had her focus on the area that bothers her most. When we treated that area, she was so wowed by the result that she was back in 2 weeks with more money to pay for the rest of the treatment. They will carry through when they see a result, and that's what it is it's about delivering the experience for the client and the results.
And so what I've picked up on from our conversations as well is you have all these incredible services you're bringing on. You've brought on some new lasers, you have these incredible wellness services, and this beauty bank is keeping people not only for the original treatment, but expanding their services, right? Where they're accruing these dollars and they're coming to you first. And especially as a marketer, you must be like, this is incredible, right? Because they're like starting to save and spend on all these services and coming to Gem first. Have you experienced that?
I would say a big thing that Gem does is when the client comes in, the consultation is so well-rounded and it gives that client the full Gem experience. We're gonna talk about skincare, we're gonna talk about injectables, even health and wellness, because everyone's into health and wellness these days. So if you're not doing it with Gem, you're doing it with someone else. So we want to be that one place that client goes to for all of those things, and we want to offer that to them. And I think with the memberships, it makes it more available, attainable for clients.
And your 3 non-negotiables, if you were a practice owner listening to this today, and you were like, these are the 3 things for success, right? What would those be?
Simplicity.
Yes.
Because we've gone the non-simple route, and we can attest with our numbers that simplicity is everything.
It's, like not confusing. You can explain it to a client in under a minute, 2 minutes. It has everything that Gem offers in those memberships. Number 2, I would say the beauty bank. Clients don't feel like they're losing out. All their money goes towards services at Gem. There's no fee that we're taking. And then number 3, I would say those exclusive membership promos. We want to create that FOMO where it's like, oh, I'm not a member, I don't get that 50% off Black Friday, Moxie, and Halo. So like, I think those 3 would be non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables, absolutely.
Those were fantastic. And the final piece, anyone thinking about on the fence of like, hey, can I do this myself or can I use RepeatMD? What would you say?
It's a no-brainer.
For sure.
We've found so many benefits within RepeatMD. I would say if I could give a tip to practice owners, be generous in your rewards that you offer your clients, because For us personally, we offer, like we do limited little pops here and there where we say, if you join a membership this week, if you join a Diamond, you get a free Diamond Glow facial. That's $250. Wow. If you join Emerald, you get a free chemical peel. The value of that is up to $170. Getting your clients to experience all facets of your med spa is huge. We know from retention that a client that comes to you for one treatment, only one type of treatment, is only going to visit you on an average of 2 times a year. If you add a second, it's 4. If you add a third, it's upwards of 8. Yeah. The client is more sticky the more you let them experience, and if you can give them a reward where your consumable cost is next to nothing, it will do leaps and bounds for your business.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you for
down.
having us. We feel honored.
I mean, this has been incredible, and to hear from your perspective as a, doing the marketing and running the practice, right?
You.
And to understand, like, you guys are really in the trenches doing this. That's what we wanted to put together, and thank you for being so kind and gracious of sharing all this. And thank you all to our new clients. We will see you very, very soon. And Chris Balby, thank you, sir. Take it away.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, guys, I am super excited to be going through this workshop with you. We're going to create your next high-performing membership event. But it has been a long webinar, and I want to congratulate you guys. Everyone do this with me. We're going to tilt our head to the left. We're going to tilt our head to the right. If you got your left and right wrong, that's okay. No one can see you. If you're sitting, maybe give yourself a little bit of a foot shake. We got to get that blood flowing. My Oura ring told me I needed to stand. I'm here. Let's get started. All right, so I want to cover a couple quick things, and we're going to go through this together, and we're going to use the event compass to find your way. So we are going to be like Moana, and we are going to go towards the sea. We're going to let it go. There will probably be dozens of Disney references over the next 30 minutes, but it all comes back to the compass. The compass is where we want to be. We're going to take this event step by step. If you guys don't know how to draw a compass, here's your visual cue. It's never eat soggy waffles, NEWS. Let me know in the chat, do you guys like soggy waffles? I hope you all say, oh no, someone out there is gonna like soggy waffles. I know that's what's gonna happen. All right, so I want you guys to get to know me. If you guys don't already, my name is Chris. I operate 5 locations of health and wellness practices in PA. It's called Meesha Aesthetics. You can find us on Instagram at Botox by Meesha. That's MEESHA. If you like me though, if you follow me, make sure you like my posts, otherwise you mess up my algorithm. I have over $3 million in sales through RepeatMD. I have been doing this for 3 years now. I have over $1 million in membership sales. So what I like to say is that while I do technically work for RepeatMD for the next 30 minutes, I do this because I like it. All right? And then I am an event expert. My recent live memberships had over 250 attendees, and I sold over 40 memberships at my last event. So this is a non-stop, action-packed half hour. And I am the only thing standing between y'all and dinner. So we're going to keep this show moving. All right? Oh, look, they did put my little Instagram handle there. Also, never eat sour worms. Don't do that either. Okay. Why do events work? You can offer exclusive access to the best pricing. You guys have seen the lines outside of Foot Lockers. You guys have seen the lines outside of these events at other stores. They host events because they work. They also create a sense of FOMO, one of my favorite words, fear of missing out. If you weren't at our event, you missed out on exclusive pricing. You missed out on a once and a lifetime opportunity to get a membership for $50 off. You can get your patients active in your practice. I am so tired of the treat and repeat mentality. I'm so frustrated with even my providers who towards the end of the year, I can calm down a little bit if you want. I can slow down. I can breathe. Sorry about my excitement, everybody. If I get too slow at this point, you let me know. I get my patients active in your practice by coming in. Instead of a treat and repeat energy and mentality, you get them to come in and interact with your staff, with your every bit of skincare. You get them to interact with your office. Wow, slowing down really makes this tough. I'm so sorry, we gotta pick it back up. Okay, so social media content goldmine. I love the social media aspect of having an event. It's where you get to come in, you get to snap those pictures, you get to snap those selfies with your crew, you get to snap all of the information you're gonna need, and if you do it right, you can get enough content during your event to last you for the entire quarter. All right? You can definitely get all of that energy and all of those photos together for one 4-hour event and put it all there. Okay, but you're not here to listen to me talk. You want to get to the meat. We got there. So we're going to cover why events work. We're going to get into the event planning compass, and then we're going to jump right into the Q&A. Allergan pays me a butt ton, so you guys get me for free tonight. So make sure you are stacking those questions up to make sure you guys get all of the juice out of this brain for free, because that's what RepeatMD does. They bring you guys the value, right? All right, let's plan an event together. So this is your time. You've got 60 seconds for me to calm down and for you to go grab a piece of paper or open up the notepad on your phone. That gets a little complicated if you're opening up the notepad and also trying to watch the event. So I recommend a piece of paper. I'll give you guys 10 seconds to find a piece of paper and a pen. 10, 9, 8. We're in New York City, so when we get to 0, you guys have to yell Happy New Year. I'm just kidding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great, you got that piece of paper, you got that pencil, you got that pen, you opened up your notepad, let's get started. We're all gonna draw a circle together, one big circle on that paper. Apparently, this is how they used to train artists on if they were good artists or not, how good their circle was. No one's being tested on their circles today. We're just gonna do N-E-W-S, N-E-W-S. Never eat soggy waffles, or never eat soggy worms, or never eat sour watermelon. Whatever you want to remember, N-E-W-S, draw your compass. And we're going to go through new event themes. We're going to talk about your sales goal. We're going to talk about who's coming. And then my absolute favorite part, the engagement ideas. That's my absolute favorite part, but that's why I saved the last for ending. All right, let's jump into N, the North Star. You cannot plan an event without your North Star. You cannot plan an event without your theme. So let's take a second together and come up with a theme. Now, you might be thinking, I suck at this part. What am I gonna do for a theme? Let me tell you, you're gonna look at newsjacking. For those of you who don't know what newsjacking is, it is hijacking newsworthy stories. For example, if you live on the East Coast like I do, the snow was a very newsjackable event. Again, if you visited my Instagram, you'll see I just gave away 13 units of Tox because we got 13 units of snow. And what I had done was I built a picture of what the snow map was gonna look like. And I said, hey, if you're trying to predict what kind of weather you're gonna get, check out the Meesha snow map, right? So newsjacking. Other things for newsjacking, Wicked came out last year. One of my first events with RepeatMD was Balbi. That was newsjackable. So you definitely wanna talk about that. Now, the other option, nostalgia. So if you are like, listen, I don't do current events, I want to jump right into nostalgia. Some of my favorite nostalgic things are Disney. Candyland is nostalgic. You could talk about the 80s, neon. You could talk about, what else is nostalgic? You could go old cars. You could go like, I love that 80s aerobic theme if you're doing health and wellness. I love the old tooth puppet they used to have on Nick Jr. All of those are options. You want to make sure that your theme is relatable, right? I hope you guys are writing down some themes right now. Start lighting up the chat with what themes you're thinking about. So newsjacking, Galentine's Day is coming up. If you have enough time for the next 20 days, Valentine's Day would make a great theme. Now, you also want to make sure your theme is easy to shop for because you are going to need lots of props off of Amazon or the dollar store or Five Below, and you're gonna want to make sure that you can play into this theme. So if your theme is monster truck, you're gonna need a lot of monster trucks. Where are you gonna get those? If your theme is pajama glam, you're gonna wanna make sure that you can buy teddy bears. What are comfort foods for sleepovers? I love a Vegas night. You guys can do gambling in-house for products. Put up some Botox. Everyone gets 20 units to gamble with when they get it. Oh, I love this idea. Why is nobody writing this down for me? Someone write this down. I'm having a brain blast. Okay, so Vegas night. Everyone gets 20 units of Tox when they walk in the door. You can walk right out with that 20, or you can hang out in our office, gamble those 20 units, and you can earn more Tox by playing our games. That's coming up for the engagement part later. Keep that in mind. I love this. We're gonna play with Vegas night today. Other examples I've done in the past, Candyland, Christmas, Disney, diamonds are a girl's best friend. I've seen offices do a patriotic theme. I also love a Wicked theme as well because it does do newsjacking. All right, let me see some of these themes. I see a spring break. Now remember, you guys can borrow each other's themes, right? So it's community, not competition. Michelle, I love a superhero theme. That's fun to dress up. You could also play that into like the cleanser, like the Queen cleanser would be a fun one. She just runs around cleansing people's faces. Spring break, Wonderland theme, I love that. Easter's coming up, you probably have a bit more time to do that. One of my favorite Easter themes to do is to hide bonus check-ins in Easter eggs around my office. So if you come to my office during Easter and you find a golden egg, you get a bonus check-in on RepeatMD. Take that idea, run with it. All right, I'm gonna give you guys 30 more seconds to think of your themes. Throw the themes out there. Throw the themes out there. I won't dance, I promise. I don't promise that, actually. Brittany, spring break, sun's out, needles out, let's get toxed up. I like that one. This is funny. We're cool with themes? All right, so back to our compass, y'all. We know our N is now complete. You have one theme. Promise me you're not gonna get overwhelmed. Everyone has one theme, right? We've got one theme on our paper. All right, let's move on. We gotta go to my last theme, which was Candyland. Again, visit the Instagram if you want. Scroll back to July of this year. I can't point with a laser pointer. I don't know if I have a mouse, but if anyone can point to the woman pouring whipped cream into her mouth in the lower quadrant, in the second to last photo. That's one of my favorite RepeatMD posts. It did really well. It was comparing members to non-members. I said, listen, ice cream is great. You come to Meesha, you're gonna get ice cream, but your ice cream is better if you've got that Meesha Plus membership sundae in front of you. So it's a quick and easy way to identify what our theme is and what makes members versus non-members special. To the left of that, we did a thank our front desk area. You guys look great when you thank your front desk for helping people get checked in. It's not hard, but you gotta teach them, right? The Instagram handle is @Botox by Meesha, but don't leave the live stream. Stick with me. I'll remind you at the end so you can go check me out later. All right, so my theme was Candyland, but the theme we're playing with today is Vegas, all right? We're playing Vegas today, people. What's our goal? What's your goal? Are we gonna do, this is S, so what is our goal? Are we gonna do 10% over last year's event? Are we gonna do a number of memberships sold? Are we gonna do a number of sales? Are we gonna do a number of attendees? Let's take a second and break them down real quick. What's important to your practice right now? I want you guys to put it in the chat. I'm waiting. I want you guys to tell me right now what is the, I don't need to know the exact goal. It doesn't need to be a number, but is your goal number of members? Is your goal sales? Or is your goal number of attendees? Let's hear it. Next time I do this, I need like a little music button. So when I'm like killing time, I can do a little dance. Come on, Celine, 100K per month. Love to hear that. So it sounds like we're really gonna be pushing for members, and that makes sense because this is a membership-driven event, right? Okay, so here it is. Gambling, one of my favorite things with this whole Botox gambling Vegas theme. What if you could take your 20 units of Tox and gamble it on a wheel that gets you $50 off your first month membership? Do you think that's an engaging way to get new members? I would say so. You've given everyone the opportunity to trade the free 20 units that you're giving them for $50 off a membership. So our sales goal is now more memberships, right? So you set your goal, you decide what's best for you. You want to make sure it's obtainable, but also keep in mind a stretch goal wouldn't be bad. So you might say, my goal is 20 memberships. My stretch goal is 30. If I hit 20, I'm gonna be thrilled. But if I can do 30 as a team, I'm gonna love it, right? So we have our theme, we picked our date, we have our sales goal, we know we're doing a Vegas theme, we're gonna have a goal of, let's say, 20 members. I think that feels good. If we're starting at 0, let's get 20 memberships in. Because that 20 memberships equates to 4 to 6 months worth of recurring revenue. And that's what we're all here for, right? So if you take 20 members and each one is paying you $100 a month, that's $2,000 you're getting right off the bat. And if they're members for 6 months, you just made $12,000 with doing nothing. That's if you look at a beauty bank membership. It was that easy. So again, N, our new theme is Vegas. S, our sales is 20 memberships. I'll give you guys another 10 seconds to write down what your sales goal is. So by now, you should have your theme and you should have your sales goal. No, I don't need music yet. I'm gonna do music at the next one. But I do feel like I should get tap shoes. Can I get RepeatMD branded tap shoes? All right. We need to decide who the heck is coming to this event. If nobody's coming, you're not gonna make any sales. All right, so this is the W. NSW at this point. Who's coming? Well, you've got your whales. That's what they call them in casinos, which is very apropos for this Vegas theme. So I love the concept of whales. Those are your big spenders. You know these people off the top of your head. You know the last 4 digits of their phone number when they text or call in. You know they're always going to make their appointments. You know that they're going to be the easiest people to sell a membership to. So if your sales goal is memberships, your best bet is to invite your whales. I'll say it one more time. If your sales goal is memberships, your best bet is to invite your whales. Now, if your sales goal happens to be sales generated, your best bet is to invite your newbies. They're gonna give you a lot of little incremental sales. They're gonna buy those products, they're gonna try that talks. May not be a lot of sales, but you're gonna convert those newbies into lifelong members because they took the selfies at your event, they had a great time. And then the last but not least are the Beau Curious, as we call them, on the fencers. These are patients who are looking to buy but haven't bought yet because they didn't get a chance to meet you. So at this event, if you're throwing an On the Fencers event, you need to line up your providers, your healthcare providers, your SD besties, your front desk staff, line them up in director's chairs or seated chairs, and let people do like a greeting line. These On the Fencers are ready to commit, but they haven't met the people of your practice yet. And that's where this comes in. They get a chance to shake the hands of your nurses, shake the hands of your doctors, put a face to a name, get to know the vibe of your office, right? So again, we have our N theme is Vegas, our S theme is selling memberships. So for me, if we're using this example, I'm inviting the whales. Quick recap, whales equals members, newbies equals fresh sales, and On the Fencers equals new friends. Do you want me to say it again? You guys can tell me in the chat if you want me to say that again. It was a lot. Someone's gonna say yes. Okay, whales equals members, newbies equals new sales, and then On the Fencers are gonna be those new friends that are gonna turn into lifelong friends. So when you're creating your event, if memberships are important, the people I would invite are the whales. They're the ones that got the money, they come to you frequently, they already trust you. Selling a membership to a current patient is redonkulously more easy, all right? So keep that in mind. So we're gonna recap. Theme is Vegas, sales goals memberships. Who's coming? The whales. We're bringing out the big spenders. Cool? You want to prepare for what's going to happen at your event. Now, people often ask, how do I figure out who my whales are? Well, 2 ways. One, RepeatMD makes this pretty easy. Go with who's checked in the most often. Do you guys have RepeatMD out there or not yet? Do you guys know how to go into your admin panel and then sort by all of the check-ins? Love that. So I, every quarter, see who checked in the most, and I send them a personalized text message, and then I actually go into, actually they hate when I do this and I get too close to the camera, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And then one of my secrets is I find out who my whales are, and then I drop $25 to $50 in repeat cash straight into their account, and I text them and I say, for being a frequent visitor, I'm giving you $50 more to play with. Well, what do you think they're gonna friggin' do with that $50? They're gonna buy their cool peels, they're gonna buy their tox, they're gonna buy their filler, they're gonna get that package, and it's all in the app. They can't take it. I didn't give them a $50 Visa gift card. I gave them $50 to me. Spoiler alert, nothing in my office costs $50. So they're gonna take that $50 that I gave the whales, and they're gonna buy a membership. So if you're planning a membership event, what might it behoove you to do? Give your whales $50 to play with. That's an investment. Everyone always sees discounts as a loss. I don't see them as losses. I see them as investments because $50 off literally is nothing in my world because most of my stuff costs $1,000. So $50 off, it means they got a $950 service that I still got paid on. Keep that in mind, all right? So to find your whales, who checked in most often on RepeatMD? You can also run an EMR sales report. I often get asked, what is your EMR? If it matters, it's Simplast, but all EMRs have this functionality. You can run a report. We talk about a bunch of EMRs that chat nice with RepeatMD. You can run reports and figure out who are your whales. Cool? We have made it. If I had a seat here, I would sit, but this is a table, so I won't sit on that because my mother always said, tables are for glasses and not for, you get it. So we're gonna talk about engagement ideas. It is my favorite part of the compass. It is the E. It is the energy that I bring to you today. It is the excitement that you're gonna bring to your event. These are engagement ideas. What are people gonna do at this party? Are they gonna stand around? No. They're gonna do some fun stuff. Christina, I love you too. We can be best friends. All right, engagement ideas. We're gonna make your events engaging and memorable for your guests. You wanna keep things active. You wanna get your guests moving or participating instead of just watching. You wanna have photographable moments that people can post online and tag you in. This was one of my great ideas this year. Who here knows what a kissing booth is? If you are a RepeatMD employee, can I get a GIF of a kissing booth? I'm not gonna continue until I get that, so I hope one of you does that. If Jeremy was watching, he would do it for me. I need a kissing booth. I'll wait. I got time. Or if you're just a user, you could also give me a kissing booth GIF. Unless there isn't one. I might just be wasting everyone's time. I'll take a kiss. All right. Oh, good. We're live finding one. Is there a kissing booth one? No, you gotta type it in the search up top. Yeah. This is really important to me. Oh, this is scandalocious. Let's not do this one. Just go back to kissing. Let's try that. Long story short, what we're looking for is a misting booth. So what I did is I took the idea of a kissing booth and I turned it into a misting booth. This was my Hydrinity Hyacinth Spray, my number 3 sold product this year. I had my patients place their faces in the booth and then I gently sprayed them with our hyacinth mist. And then when they said, "What are you doing to my face?" I told them what it was. And then once they found out what it was, I explained the perks. And once I explained the perks, they bought it. Because we're all here to make money, right? Brittany Baker wins. I don't have anything to give you, but if there was Brittany Baker, that is exactly what I wanted. All right, so that is one engagement idea. Take a product or something you want to sell, and now find a way to make it engaging. So what you'll do, I turned a kissing booth into a misting booth. I created that moment that people wanted to talk about. Now, also create a memorable experience, right? So this is my Jeuveau champagne wall. The only way you could get a glass of champagne was if you committed to trying Jeuveau at your next visit. I'll be honest with you, I didn't keep track. I don't care if they try it or not. But when I said they had to try it, they asked, "What is Jeuveau?" And I told them what it was. And then they got to take the champagne. Again, I didn't actually enforce it. I'll never inject someone with something they don't need or want. But it was a way to say, before you take free champagne, let me tell you. Oh, if I had like a soundboard, that would have been a "Stop right now, thank you very much." That would have been a moment for that sound bite right there. So create engagement ideas that are memorable. They build an experience that sticks with your guests after they leave. And then education, teach one clear, valuable insight. So if we're going with this Vegas theme, this is off the top of my head. Let's say people want to spin the wheel, spin a roulette wheel. You can only spin the roulette wheel if you let me place HA5 on the back of your hand. This is a magic roulette wheel. It only responds to people that try TNS on the back of their hand. This is an engaging moment for you to say, you can spin my wheel, but you got to try my TNS. Oh, this is a magic portal. You can only step through here if you get a B12 shot. Can I give you a $5 B12 shot and educate you on what it does? That's a really good idea too. Someone else write that down for me. I'm gonna need these ideas written down. So these are engaging ideas that you guys can take to your practice for your event that help educate during your membership event. One of my other favorites is a souvenir. I love the Cocoa Cold Foam HA Foam Bar. So what I love to do is take the products that I know and love, use a little magic, and make them into something that you can talk about. So we did a hot cocoa bar, and you could put cold foam on it, but while you were making your hot cocoa, I was educating you about the new Skin Medica HA Foaming Wash Cleanser, right? Whoever this Brittany girl is, bring her in. If you need like something special, Brittany, you're my friend forever. All right, we have wrapped it all up. I am right on time. If you're proud of me, say yee-haw in the chat. We are right on time. So we have our new event theme. It is Vegas. We have our sales goal. It is members. We have our who's coming, and it's the whales. We have our engagement idea of a roulette wheel that you can only spin if you oh, we should have made this RepeatMD themed. Let's do it again. Hold on. Engagement idea. You can only spin my roulette wheel if you're signed up for RepeatMD Rewards app. We got it? Cool? Good. Fast forward. Boop, boop. TiVo sound. Vegas. memberships, whales, roulette wheel that you can only spin if you're signed up as a RepeatMD member. Can I get a yee-haw? Now I got time for questions. I got 9 minutes. You only got 9 minutes to save the world. Now can I get a little bit of music so they have 60 seconds to ask questions? I hear it in my head. The whales are a big spending client. So those are the ones that spend more than 10 grand a year or whatever makes sense for your practice. Any tips for, we're gonna do rapid fire, I love this. What a whale, again, we just covered that. Any tips for launch events? Okay, if you need a launch event, come to my class, February 11th. I'm with Jeremy. We do an entire 45-minute lecture. It's free, you guys can watch it, on how to launch. It's a lot to fit into my 6 minutes of Q&A, but ideally you wanna create FOMO. One of my favorite tips for launching your RepeatMD app, text it to your 10 or 15 great clients, ask them to text you back their feedback. 7 of them are gonna say great things. Then you take those 7 things, screenshot them, put them on social media, and say, do you want to see what the hype's about? Download it. Do you invite members to talk about memberships? How do you incorporate that into your event? So I have done panels before where I line up a bunch of chairs like we're all in school, and I invite one of my well-spoken members to talk about how the membership helped them commit to their journey. I have to give them a little bit of press tour education. I don't want them rambling, so I kind of guide the conversation. But that's how I make that happen. Any tips for weight loss events? I would rent an in-body scale if you don't already have one. It's a free way to get people invested in weight management. You put them on the scale and you show them the composition of their body, and it's an easy sale. Do you want to change the composition of your body? And if you're not ready to invest in an in-body scale or any of those scales that tell you all your metrics, you can rent them. What if you're just opening? You have it the easiest. You get to sign everyone who walks through your door up for RepeatMD and say, as a grand opening event, we're doing $50 off your first service, but only if you're signed up for a RepeatMD app. We have a lot of services from wellness to aesthetics and IVs. It's hard to word that has a CO in it. What would you recommend? It's up to Dominica's question. Thank you so much for that. One of my favorite things to do is to pair them together. So I'll sell a package of 2 Botox visits and it comes with a free IV. Again, that free IV sounds like a loss, but you know what it is? It's an investment because those Botox people who are regulars see a free IV, they'll try an IV, and they'll keep getting them. One of my favorites to do is also buy 3 laser hair removal sessions, get free teeth whitening. People are like, wait, what? I didn't even know you did teeth whitening. Yeah, now you do, and you got it for free, right? So combine things that don't make sense to you, but will entice a client to try a new area or sector of your practice. Our clients are not big spenders. My whales are more like dolphins. Cue the dolphin sound. What's your biggest tip to get the true whales invested in coming to your practice, but also events? Whoo, girl, you just had to challenge me, didn't you? So my friend Adam talks about the Henrys, high income, not rich yet. Henry, high income, not rich. Wait, high earner, not rich yet? Henry. Yeah, but what's the E? Earner, thank you. High earner, not rich yet. So what you want to do is don't target the whales in your area, target the Henrys. These are the people who are shopping at your Whole Foods. These are the people who are shopping at the not Planet Fitness, but the boutique gym. You want to target those areas. Golf clubs. You want to target the high-end salons. Go into those sectors and focus on the high earners, not rich yet bulk. So don't look for whales, look for beluga whales, not humpback whales. What do you say when you call the people and they say they just came for free stuff, they don't have any, girl, boy, Adrian, what? I would be devastated. Let's do that one together. So the question is, what do you do when you follow up with someone who came to your event and they say, oh, I just came for the free stuff? Then I would say, why don't you follow me on social media? That is also a free activity. I promise you those people are interested in your services. They wouldn't have come if they weren't at least a little bit interested. Inviting them to follow you keeps you in front of them, get them signed up for your RepeatMD free app, and keep bothering them. Every time you text them, you're gonna chip away at them. They're a challenge, but it's not impossible. So if they come at you and say they only came in for the free stuff, remind them that following you on Instagram is also free. Tips for a relaunch as a RepeatMD as our new membership platform. Yeah, hi Hope. So what we're gonna do is take a list of your current members on your old platform and invite them to an exclusive transition event where you're gonna get a projector set up, you're gonna walk them through the new and improved way that memberships are gonna work. And then you're gonna say, do you also wanna come to this event? If you're serious about memberships, you're also invited. So make it feel much more exclusive if you've got current members and you're transitioning them into the new era of memberships at your practice. What ideas for primary care practice, IVs, peptides? Oh, you are not out of the loop here. So one of my 5 offices is purely wellness. We use RepeatMD there. I have custom memberships that offer one-on-one care. So I kind of treat it like concierge health, right? So I bring them in and I say, listen, if you've got that cold that just won't go away, if you've got that hiccup that you just need treated, we are your concierge health service for $75. Why just $75? That's pretty much just what a copay is anyway, right? So don't have to pay your insurance to come to me, you just gotta pay the $75 copay as in the form of a membership. But then once they're there, they start to learn about NAD and they start to learn about the increased services that I offer. So keep your introductory offer low to get them in the door. I call it a wellness check, I call it a sick visit for $75, move on from there. Sorry, Denise, there aren't really gonna be ways to find whales on social media unless you go to these like golf pages, these high-end salon pages, start engaging with their clients in a very natural and organic way, right? It's not just a nice picture. It's a, wow, your blonde balayage looks amazing. Did you sit in the chair for more than 4 hours? Be invested, right? You have to create a sense of community. I'm sorry, guys, I'm gonna do it one last time. My biggest pet peeve are people who only go to social media to be reactive. I need you guys to be proactive. I need you guys right after this webinar ends. If you haven't already signed up for RepeatMD, do that. But then I want you to go on Instagram to your local high-end salons, restaurants, bars, golfs, comment on their stuff, engaging content. Like, wow, I can't believe your golf course is so gorgeous. Because then when someone else shows up to that spot, they're gonna see your handle and they're gonna click on it. So it's not about liking, it's not about commenting, nice pick. It's about creating community. If I could throw this $99 remote, it might be more than that, I would. I think that we have become too passive on social media, and I think the problem is we're not creating a sense of community and engagement. If you want your event to succeed, create a community. Create a community. I'm gonna say it one more time. Create a community that you would wanna be a part of. Well, that's all the time I got. I hope you guys join the RepeatMD community soon. I hope you guys join our community of KOLs. I hope you join our community of people dedicated to furthering and expanding their lifestyles. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Botox by Meesha or reach out to RepeatMD. They'll get you in touch with me. Bye.